where you at?
I'm right here. I'm doing some shit.
Melvin's always doing
Careful,
some shit.
careful. Let me see what it's talking about. Let me see what it's talking about. So today, I'm chopping it up with the
The
fam,
light
y'all.
is on.
And I didn't think this conversation was gonna go that far. But honestly speaking, heard some good points that I definitely wanted to share with the fam. So here we is. Here I am. All right. Now the topic is, who is oppressed more? Black people or women? Kyrie, I ain't gonna generalize it or try to make it, you know what I'm saying, too curtail. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I'm gonna start it off with you, Jimfo.
Who is oppressed more, black people or women? Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, that's kind of hard to answer. I mean, I never really sat back and thought about, which scale is heavier than the other. But just in my opinion, based off of what I know, um, I would have to say, man, that's a tough one. That's real tough. Let me think. Let me ponder for a second. I mean, because when you think
All right, we're
about it,
gonna come
women
back.
for the past,
When we come back to you.
especially, you said what?
Oh no, I thought you said you need to ponder. Go ahead, Laura.
Oh, my bad. Well, especially in today's society, I guess, basing off the location where we at now, as far as maybe in the United
Mm-hmm.
States, and kind of how things have been going on in European societies and stuff like that. You know, women have been very limited in what they could do, but nevertheless, uh, just as far as the majority of white women, if you think about percentages of white women compared to, black women or, you know, women of different European descents and stuff like that, they never had
Mm-hmm.
to endure the type of oppression that, a lot of different black cultures had to, partake in. And
Right.
I can just go to the most common, you know, I mean, and I guess if we, I'm right now I'm separating, the European women from the, from black women and stuff like that. But, and I'm breaking that
Mm-hmm.
up. But still, black people as a whole, I could just bring up one thing, and that's slavery. And I could compare black people as a whole slavery compared to, the European woman, ways of life and society. And I could easily make a case that they never had to endure anything like that. Never had to endure, the type of, the gruesome torture that we went through. If you think about it, uh, well, I don't know, because then, women that were in slavery, they were impregnated, and then, when they started making, a lot of the, new slaves and stuff like that, those women were getting their bellies cut open. They were getting, tortured and, in the
Right.
most gruesome ways and stuff like that. So when I just bring up,
Mm-hmm.
random stuff like that, just to try to compare, it's kind of, crazy because I could separate women into different classes, but then if I think about the black woman and what she had to endure, it's kind of hard to separate black women and take her away from the black culture and not look at it as a collective thing. So um, that's a good question.
Right.
And maybe you can come back to me on that one. I might have a more precise answer for you.
Oh yeah, you know it's gonna be layers to this. Yes. Marcella.
Hello,
Tenfold.
hello.
What you talking about?
Since I'm representing for the blacks and black women and women in general, um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will personally will I for one I will forewarn everybody. I always have the unpopular opinion, as people would say. So, but personally, I think women, especially nowadays, because yes, as black people, we went through what we went through. We endured what we endured. Some people may argue me and say that's not over, but I personally am not a slave to anybody. So therefore, it's not as prevalent as right now. Today, literally as in within last week, women are still being told what to do with our own bodies. Like you what? So
So are
therefore,
they
the
slaves?
fact that we still don't even have a choice, and not even just women, females in general, even young females, these kids don't even have a
Mm-hmm.
choice. They have made it to where there's a law. that if a child, which I don't even know if men know this, but so they do know, women have their periods at all different ages. There's some
Right.
girls I know that started at 8, some at 10. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
once that happens, you can get impregnated. So if you are
Right.
telling me that you can make sense of an 8-year-old child getting raped and impregnated and making her go through a pregnancy, that's beyond a fathom of a thought that I could even have ever seen coming towards us.
Right.
So personally, I think women, because we still, and I can read that there is difference between white women and black women. We do go through different things, but at the end of the day, like, we did all have to fight for our rights to vote. We still all had to fight for a voice. We like they still were lower than their husbands. They still weren't looked at as anything but probably sex toys, just as the black women were back then on the plantations. They didn't have a say so in those households. They just made it look more glamorous.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, girl.
Who that G
No,
Money?
I'm on video chat with my cousin. It's a whole live panel on YouTube. So yeah, so that's
Oh,
my
you somebody.
take for
Okay.
women. Makes sense? No,
That's your
yes.
synopsis right there
Yeah, that's pretty much my synopsis.
for right now. Okay. Because I know
For
you're
right
going to have
now,
some
for
more.
right now.
Okay. Mel,
What it do?
info. What is talking about?
Man, I'm gonna continue with my stance from earlier, which is I really don't know
Yeah.
if I can say one more than the other
Correct.
because
Yeah.
there's a conflating factor here with
Mm-hmm.
you have one and the same with the black female.
Right.
So I mean, Kyrie did a good job trying to separate the two. And then ultimately, what I kind of saw in his train of thought, because he was thinking it out while he was saying it, it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
I ended up earlier. It's kind of like, well, shit. I mean, damn, who is it? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, is it shit? I don't know. I mean, it's been fucked up. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's kind of like uh, it depends on who you are, where you were, because
Mm-hmm.
oppression might have been a little different in the '60s in uh Montgomery, Alabama than it was in, what I'm saying, in Montana. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
Hey,
just an
you
example.
brought up Alabama. You brought up Alabama. Did you see the Lil Duval Instagram post where they was hanging the motherfucking the police? You know, they had about 20 police cars lined up. You know how niggas is. We see that type of shit. We like, who getting busted? You know, we thinking it's a raid. They riding by slow trying to see what he can see. Man, it's a nigga hanging from the tree and it's white sheets everywhere in Alabama 2019.
Nah, I ain't see that
You know,
shit.
I'm
Heard
like,
something about it.
but go ahead, bro. I ain't mean, you just said Alabama.
But speaking to that though, I don't doubt it. And you know what I'm saying? I think, what I'm saying, shit like that, when it resurfaces, that type of behavior and that type of activity, it's a resurgence that's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Uh
Mm-hmm.
when somebody
Given the
feels, huh?
I said, yeah, given the climate of today's
Yeah,
society in America.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Cause just, motherfuckers start feeling weak or
Mm-hmm.
powerless, not important, they gonna lash out. You know what I'm saying? And
Same
I
way
think
they felt in
I think
history.
that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
So now we're gonna show you this white power. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's what that is. You know what I mean? But, you know, did it ever stop though? You know what I'm saying? I think, you know what I'm saying, the main thing is that we just got so much connectivity by way of media, which is a good thing and a detriment at the same time, because one thing about human beings is we're highly susceptible to the shit we see.
Mm-hmm.
So saying for some people, seeing that is gonna be like, damn, that's fucked up. We need to come together. And then some people is gonna you know what I'm saying? It's gonna make them more radical. Yeah, fuck that shit. White power. I'm gonna go hang me a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so it's, it's touchy, it's sensitive. You know what I'm saying? So it's, that's why I said with this whole oppression thing, we kind of got to take it on a case by case basis. Who are you talking to? But I think ultimately, just to summarize, I think it's been bad for both groups in question.
Good answer. Good answer. Appreciate that feedback.
Good answer. Good answer.
Hey,
Is this
man.
family feud? Good answer. Good answer.
Hey, quick question. How come you guys
What's
how
that?
come your video not on right now?
I
Oh,
turned my camera off because I'm doing too much moving around.
Well, I
Oh,
turned
okay.
mine off because I just looked. I don't like what I look like, and I'm folding laundry.
Uh,
shut your police sounding ass up, nigga.
I can't even what you say?
As they said, your police sounding ass up, nigga. I don't need no camera.
Nah, nigga, I look weird. I'm the only one with a fucking video going.
I'll
You
say
fly
Y'all,
though. You
yes.
fly.
We're
You
supposed to
in
be normal.
Marcella. You feel me?
y'all niggas look
Y'all
six
gonna
eight. What you mean?
y'all gonna bring in the people. Y'all the models. You know what I'm saying? That
First,
melanated.
I need
You
to.
know
I
what I'm
want to go
saying?
on YouTube and
Beauty
see
over
this.
there.
How
Say
do I?
what?
How do I go on YouTube and actually look at us?
You don't want to do that because then we're gonna get feedback and shit.
I'm gonna go in another room.
No, for
No.
what?
Yeah, puppy
You're
just
gonna be
sitting.
distracted from the conversation. You got to just watch it back later.
Uh,
Do we have any views?
What
I need
big
to
bro?
go.
Go ahead and get big bro standpoint though.
oh, you already know I am. Chief Gritty. What he's talking about, Kinfolk?
Man, I agree with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Kyrie put it very well, and I was thinking earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, did black women get the right to vote with women or with black people? You know what I'm saying? So to to the question, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like
Hold on.
to
Repeat that again.
as far as you know what I'm saying, I was just kind of looking at it and asking the question, did black women get the right to vote as an example
Okay.
with women or with black people? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, they wouldn't be voting if black people didn't get the right to vote, but women, that would have been all other women except for, you know what I'm saying, black women and vice versa. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's hard to say, but to really say the between the two. But you know what I'm saying? Throughout history, if we're looking at it from the beginning of time, I don't think black people have always been oppressed. But women kind of sort of, you know what I'm saying, you might argue that uh, women have been on the lower end of the totem pole, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I know in some, teachings is, matriarchal, how it
Yeah.
used to be and everything, but still think, because just the fact that prostitution is the oldest profession and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So,
Man, but why people be saying that though, bro?
well, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But that's definitely been said.
I be hearing that like you ain't the first. You know what I'm saying? That's something we was
Yeah,
taught. Big
yeah,
credit.
certainly. Yeah, yeah, that is something we was taught. You right. It might be something to look at like that. Yeah.
Because I mean, if you think about like the mind of a rapist
Man,
gonna say she wanted it. You know what I'm saying? And remember when we was call ourselves hustling, we like shit, nigga. I'm gonna sell that shit because she gonna buy it from somebody else.
nah,
So
because prostitution ain't saying that a woman is willing. Prostitution today, most of the time, you got a woman that's being forced into that. So that's what I mean. Like,
how is it
yeah,
different? Let me veg you back with you. Let's build on that topic because
yes,
I
sir.
agree. That's the
Hmm.
that's the circum. I feel like it's more circumstantial though. That's something that's missing from the equation because I don't
Hmm.
see no woman out here trying to sell nothing, let alone her body, if she went in a circumstance that she felt like you feel me. I done
Yes.
been stripped of everything else.
Can I
You feel
interject
me?
real quick?
Yeah,
Out of
that's
fairness,
like a
out of,
sidebar conversation, really.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but I mean it's still a valid conversation that I think you know
Right.
what I'm saying is worth having. But I like to
Yep.
interject and say this: can we have that conversation in two separate respects. So let's have a conversation for the person who makes the choice to be the prostitute and the one who's forced into it, because we can't conflate the two and
Or
try to,
general.
and have a conversation about that, because they're two totally separate things.
But I don't think you can just say somebody just makes the choice to do it, because if you talk to a counselor, and that might say that's something that we taught, but if you talk to a counselor or a psychologist or anybody that's
Mm-hmm.
educated in that field, they're gonna tell you that a child probably had something happen to them
Right.
or something
To
like
lead
that. You
out.
feel me?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I can agree with that, but I still view, what I'm saying, traumatic circumstances leading to choices different than being a sex slave, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah,
So just for the sake of conversation and fairness for people who might be going through
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like that, you know what I'm saying? I think, you know what I'm saying, it got to be, it kind of got to be divvied up, because in my opinion, you know, which I really can't even have no opinion on no shit like that. That shit just infuriates me. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
You know what I mean? It's just, next. Who next? I'm gonna tap out
All
on
right, Rodney, go back to finishing your. I just when he said that the oldest profession, like I had a conversation with somebody recently about that, and I was like, think about how that affects your you psychologically. When somebody tells you whether you're a man or a woman, as a man, when I hear the oldest profession is prostitution, it made me feel like women have always been using their body, you feel me, to come up. So now that I'm 32, about to be 33, and done been around enough women, done been raised by women, I recognize, like you said, I can't generalize that statement. But at the same time, it's like, hold on, let me check that statement all the way, because if that's the oldest profession, you trying to tell me we ain't had shit going on, you feel me, but selling pussy at one point in time. And then even deeper, you try to tell me my great grandparents, my great grandmom was a prostitute. You feel me? Like, hold on, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only been recently that people have even been speaking out about women's rights. Yeah, they taught us about that shit in history class, but that shit was even recent history. You feel me? That the changes was made. Now for me, oh damn, Rodney, go ahead, Rodney. And I was finna give my synopsis on the motherfucking question. My bad.
You might as well go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't saying
Marvin,
that I use the phrase that probably should be changed to pimping is the oldest profession.
Okay.
So you feel
yeah,
me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Manipulating people is the
Can,
oldest profession.
There we
can I
go. Okay,
interject
I
and
can rock with
answer?
that.
So you
What's
asked a
up?
question earlier about, it was like a while ago, about who got the right to vote first.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was definitely the black men that got the right to vote first. So yeah.
Out of who?
How?
What do you mean? For like, the women had to struggle with the white women, but then they erased us from history because we're black. So we had to deal with being black and with being a woman,
Yeah,
because
that's
men
right.
still got the upper hand at the end of the day. They still do at the end of the day sometimes. So
Are you
still,
saying black men got the right to vote before women? Is that what you're saying?
yes,
Oh, okay, I got you.
yes.
Yeah, and that does make sense. That's why I was saying if you look at it like that, it's really both ways. Either way, they still wouldn't have got the right to vote with women if black people couldn't vote. So it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cultural thing too, though, because I feel like once the black man got the right to vote, then the black woman, given how she's being treated in her household, like it's always been even. For the most part, pops come home and mama tell him what you did, and he finna go deal with that. You feel me? Before he go do anything else. So even when the black man was voting, his vote was really representing his woman, and it was more of a protection thing. You didn't want your woman out there at them voting polls with all these weirdo ass white dudes that was acting crazy back in the day. You feel me? And not to mention contextualize the times, it was more a voting system for men. You feel me? It wasn't that it was like, oh man, fuck these hoes. Like it might have been there for them culturally. But you see, after the black man got the right to vote, shortly after, all women got the right to vote. It's almost like he opened the door for that. You feel me? And he wasn't opposed
Technically,
to it because he
we
had the right to vote at that point to, vote that shit down or whatever.
technically all black people got the right to vote at the exact same time, but because they didn't want to recognize that, it took them another 100 years to actually recognize that we had the right. Actually, like 150 years to recognize that we had the right to vote. So
Yeah, and we also thinking from a from the aspect of us being able to go to polls. The first votes they was talking for black people was you still enslaved. So that gave, I mean, in slavery, it gave the master the right to claim, his slaves like we claim kids on taxes. And so now he
Right.
like shit, I can lump all these votes together. You feel me? So if you was a slave master with a certain amount of men, you feel me? That's just more chances that you can sway the vote type of thing.
Can,
And one
can
thing that we leaving off the table that just came out recently, I'm gonna track it down so I can give y'all the name and everything of the lady. But I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all heard about this, that the white woman owned over 43% of the slaves. So uh, we can't leave that shit off the table, and we can't
Right.
leave the fact of how she was doing the black man doing slavery. You feel me? Shit, Massa was the only one trying to get him a little bed wench. You feel me? So at
let
the
me
end of the day,
let
we
me
talking
let me
about cultural differences, really.
let me throw something in. We ain't gotta address it right now, but I wanna say it so that it's in everybody else's mind so that we can go back to it uh
Mm-hmm.
as part of this conversation later on. Cause I know Marvin still ain't weighed in on your original question. But
Right, right.
I want to throw this out there because I'm sure this will be exciting and interesting. Uh, do, uh, so we
I'm
had to
not
fight for
right.
we had to fight for the right to vote. Is that right still as important today as it was then? We ain't got to weigh in on it right now,
yeah,
but I
Melvin, that's a
definitely
loaded
want to.
question.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I said that's gonna be juicy.
That can go so many. Okay,
it's gonna go down behind that shit. Go ahead, Rodney. You done? Or is you finished? I just play. You still got
Yeah,
somebody to say, right?
yeah, I'm done and finished. Yeah,
done and finished.
let's
You
get it.
done
Ooh,
ass. All
child.
right.
It's on Marvin, ain't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, Marvin. Marvin, you in the building, Kip up.
Marvin.
Marvin probably listening right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I'm
good.
here.
He's
I'm
kind
here. I'm here.
He's
okay,
here.
okay.
Marvin,
Yeah,
Kip,
I'm here.
say
what is talking about? What is talking about for real though? Let me know.
I mean, everybody got some good pointers. I mean, I agree with y'all. I accept that. I mean, but I ain't never really just like Mr. Brown had said that. I mean, I
He called
never
that
really
nigga Mr.
thought
Brown.
about it. I never really thought about it like who is more women or black people, but
Mm-hmm.
but that, I mean, but to me, when it narrows down to it, as in black, well, brown, I mean, we always and forever gonna be oppressed, even till the end of time. Look like it, cause it's nothing that we. I mean, we are linked with what we can do in this North America anyway. So it's like just one one wrong move with us, then it's like that just fuck shit up for us. So
Let me ask y'all a question. So, uh,
I have so much to
have
say.
y'all ever heard people say something like along the lines like, uh, if everybody didn't go to Walmart for 1 week, we'll fuck Walmart up. You know what I'm saying? They'll lose so much money. Y'all ever heard people in that realm of talk?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I heard it.
I I think the same way about politics. I feel the exact same way, as a matter of fact,
Jackson.
Well, that's never
because
going to happen.
my thing is it requires our participation for the oppression to continue
What?
politically.
Hold
So,
on, Kanye.
ho-
Hold
huh?
on, Kanye. I'm playing. Go ahead,
No,
bro.
no, but for real though, like if did nobody, I'm talking about nobody voted for the next president, how is one elected?
They are going to elect one. That is how.
Right.
they get a
Right.
vote.
They
Okay,
Pretty
gonna vote
much.
and they
who is
gonna do
that?
the
I mean, cause
electoral
I
The
mean,
Right.
cause
politicians, Barack
just
Obama
think about
voted.
it. With that Bush and that Kerry election. Even though Bush was really supposed to be disqualified, like real nigga shit, he was supposed to be disqualified. But out of everything, and Kerry really was supposed to win that election. But how the fuck they gonna let someone cheat, go ahead and be president?
I mean, we have
Okay,
a
I
hold on,
mean,
cuz.
it's like that shit just didn't make no sense to me.
Let me get it back real quick though. So okay, let's digress from presidency to a lesser office because y'all just agreed that elected officials are gonna cast these votes for us.
yes.
So if we
Which
don't
No,
elect
no, 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 no,
them,
no, 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 no,
which
no.
means
Not
this is not a
cast these
true
votes
democracy.
for us. I'm not saying they're gonna cast a vote for us. I'm saying that if Bob Dole get 4 votes
Come
and
on.
Bill Clinton get 6 votes, Bill Clinton won. It don't
Better
matter if
yet,
nobody else
don't nobody.
voted.
Don't
And
nobody.
they get a personal vote. Barack
he's
Obama. I,
saying
mean, I
if
said,
zero
I said
people voted, either way, the
Yeah.
electoral college would take over and do that vote.
what
So
I'm saying
They
is
already took over
that
and do that
right. What I'm
vote.
saying is that Barack Obama went somewhere to a church or wherever that he's on the vote, and he
Hmm.
casted a vote in Barack Obama's name. That's
right?
one
Yeah.
vote.
All right. So then let me get to my question. So what I'm saying is Barack Obama voted. We talking about presidency, right?
Hmm.
So we got officials in office, right?
Yep.
Now, let's say the term is up. It's time to vote for Senate seats. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
time to vote for House representative. But nobody goes and votes. So are we saying that these people just stay in a Senate seat? Our democracy turns into
a dictatorship,
a dictatorship at that point in
What
time?
else is it going? Let's take the last point I made out,
probably.
and I'm gonna ask you the question back. What else is gonna happen if it don't turn to a dictatorship? How? What else? What else gonna happen? They
And
gonna go home?
that
No,
ain't happening.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm building up to a point though. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
yeah, so okay, so y'all saying it'll turn to a dictatorship, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. In a dictatorship, that means somebody has complete say over what you do. How is
Pretty.
Yeah.
that how is that any different from what
Than
the
what
hell
it
is
is
going
now,
on right now?
It's
it's
different
not.
in a. It's different in a way that we can sit here and do what we doing, and these people that's trapped in these cages on the border. That's the
Okay, well,
difference.
actually,
But
no, real,
well,
real
Because
shit. There
that's
is
what
a
it could
difference.
that's what it could result into martial law if that's
No,
you know what I'm saying. But we talking about, you know what I'm saying, we talking about something that likely couldn't really take place because somebody gonna vote. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
And that's
right.
what I'm and that's my point where I'm saying if only 3 people vote and 2 of them, you know what I'm saying, that's the whole thing. They don't need 1 million votes or however many votes. You know what I'm saying? They need whoever vote. A lot of people don't vote.
so
Now
two.
you have go
I got
ahead, Chris.
two parts. So one with the 3 and 4, the 3 and 6 people voting. I think
Yep.
that those would probably get overruled, and the electoral college would do it. But back to Melvin's point, if nobody voted, the difference between the actual dictatorship countries and us is like, for example, Cuba. When my dad went over there, they were even scared to talk to Americans because they weren't allowed to like say certain things or ask certain questions. They couldn't even do that. Even
Mm.
a friend I had in Cuba, she was like, we didn't know what was going on in the U.S. because they didn't have a newspaper about us. They couldn't watch the news about like they didn't have access to the internet. Like this little FaceTime thing we have been talking about the government would not be able to happen right now. We would probably all be dead. So
Keep
that's the difference.
it yourself.
So So let me ask you this, Marcella. So are we saying that fear rules our lives ultimately?
Well, they're technically, some of them
Some
are
people,
technically stuck. So like for us, we probably would still be able to move around, but some of those people, like us, my friend and her family, they're literally like they're not allowed to leave. She was allowed to leave with her father because of some skill she had, but her mother had a skill there that they needed and would not let her get on the plane with her children. So her mother had to be left behind for the next 7 years until she got sick. And when she got sick and her eyes were going bad, they said that they didn't need her anymore. So that is when she was allowed to leave and then come over here to with the rest of her family.
All right. So let me ask y'all this: do y'all think that if the whole entire country, because
That was
I'm just
Cuba.
looking at, what I'm saying, like Venezuela, how they take the shit up to their White House with sticks and stones, nigga, and get to throwing them bitches at the police. So do y'all think ultimately, if we had a major nationwide revolt, that they gonna just what nuke all the citizens? What y'all think gonna happen? Is what I'm
I think they'll mess around, nuke all the citizens if they feared it.
if
yeah.
they
You
what?
feel me? If they feared it,
So
you feel me?
so that's what I'm saying. So the the fact that something like that could happen what really the is
They
the
did it
fear
before.
behind that type of stuff? Is
Possibly
that
give
what
me World War Z up in this bitch.
is the
They did it
what is the
before.
fear? Is the fear surrounding this topic what ultimately, what I'm saying, drives our decisions? You know what I'm saying, from a socio and economic standpoint, because the fact remains is that we can't change the system. You can't change the system. The only thing you can do is stop playing it. I mean, you can try, but we've seen politician after politician get corrupted. Easy. Cakewalk. That ain't,
Can I just
you know what
say
I'm
that this
saying?
goes back to my Unabomber conversation I was wanting to have with
But I
y'all?
need, I need to, before you say that, I'm sorry, for the voting part of the electoral college, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm talking about not that many people vote as it is. It's more
Right.
people that don't vote than do. You know what I'm saying? So it's a done deal no matter how many people that vote. If two people vote, whoever got them votes won. And that's going for whoever, whatever state, however many electoral votes they got. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't got that many, so you know what I'm saying, is versus Texas. You feel me?
Right.
So it don't matter who vote, as long as somebody vote, somebody won.
Yeah, I feel you. And I just, I think in theory that does absolutely check out. But I'd be interested to see if it really did, what I'm saying, in practice. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like,
I got one in
because
Yeah.
practice.
that's a lot of, you got millions of people who don't agree with the status
Yeah.
quo, and you got 60 people. We finna come whoop your ass. I don't like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Hey
not doing
man,
that shit.
it happens on the lower levels. You know what I'm saying? They get us to focus so much on the presidency to the point like people vote more for the presidency, like Rodney's saying, than they do for their local shit, the shit that really
Yes.
affects. So when you look at what happened in the local sector, a lot of times in small towns, people don't have nobody to run against them. You feel me? They don't, so the person who was the sheriff last year is the sheriff this year now. You feel me? Because nobody ran against them over here. You know what I'm saying? And that to me would be the same thing that would happen at the top. Why wouldn't it? You know what I'm saying? Like if nobody comes and run against Donald Trump, why he got to step down? Because niggas is looking for somebody to lead them. So he got to be up. We got to have some kind of face of presidency. No, for me, like as far as that voting shit go, I always hear them motherfuckers say, the president elect. You know what I'm saying? And to
You
me,
what was that?
The
when
president
I,
elect.
yeah, when I hear the president elect, you know, I'm a nigga. I don't give a fuck about what their definitions is. When I hear him say that, all I hear is just the motherfucker we picked.
Well,
Regardless.
president elect is somebody who ain't been sworn in yet.
Right, right. But I'm saying the tonage. Like we niggas, you know what I'm saying? We don't know the definition of everything. So we gotta go off the feeling and the vibes we get from your motherfucking ass. And I'm telling you, every time I hear him say that, that's the vibe I get to the point. I know this democracy shit is nothing but what they call it, PC, being politically correct. And the fucking man,
Hmm.
bro, we grown. You feel me? Ain't no democracy in your house. You feel me?
Right.
So what makes you think a motherfucker gonna
Yeah,
leave room for democracy with all this money on the line? And the money is just the motive to keep people in a certain state. Like when you say is fear the reason why we do the certain things we do or don't? I feel like yeah, because a lot of people still stuck in survival mode. And when you stuck in survival mode, you can be led by your impulse. You know, your fear
Yeah.
of not having no food, your fear of not having the perceived freedom that you think you got. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about all those things, it's like, yeah, straight up, there's a lot of people thinking this is America the Great. And just the first part of thinking this America the Great is thinking we have an actual system that works the way they say. You feel me? There's a system for the so-called public, and there's a system for the elite. And this is still a bloodline. This ain't no, you know what I'm saying? This ain't no, we gonna let Rodney and them in because you know Rodney did good this year on his taxes. No, hell no. You don't get close to this shit. The Rothschild, you know what I'm saying? You know what we talking about. When you
Well,
get
let
to
me
the
ask you
bottom
this
of
then.
these elections in countries, it's the bank.
So let me ask you this: if there's a fear that they would just nuke our ass for our disobedience, that means that ultimately what they don't need us.
Shit, you can always, goddamn it, as far as they done got with the technology, they probably can nuke our ass and clone us tomorrow, nigga. We
But
probably don't
they
even
don't
know
First
it.
of
even have
all,
to
I
nuke
don't
us.
think
They
they
already
even. I
nuking
mean,
us.
what do they need?
True.
Like a need for us?
Hold on. We do got to deal with the current events of what's 2019. You feel me? The shit that you put in your microwave, the shit that come out the sky, the
Yeah,
shit the
but that
motherfuckers
shit's slow
fall
though.
from the
That shit,
to you.
that shit's slow. That shit ain't gonna overthrow. You know what I'm saying? It is. The population rate still increases every year. Let's not ignore that. That
Okay.
shit's slow. I'm talking about as far as you talking about a countrywide revolt where ain't nobody participating in the system and we, you know what I'm saying, we unruly
Let me
in the
address
eyes
why.
in the eyes
Let
of
me
the
address
government.
why being slow don't really like write it out because
Hold
if
on, what'd you say? I didn't hear you. 'Cause I was talking to. What'd you say?
I agree with you saying like it's a slow death or a slow process,
yes.
but it doesn't write it off because if I can affect the way that you view life by creating circumstances and affecting your life, I know who you gonna vote for because you tired of seeing black people getting killed on TV
So
or
boom.
whoever.
Okay, so boom. Now we're coming back to the beginning of the circle. So they need something to influence. There's no world without the people that's in it. So what I'm saying is that
We
Yeah,
not all
yeah.
the
without
people.
our participation, I'm just saying without our participation, their system really don't work. You know what I'm saying? Like just think about it, bro. If everybody grew their own food, right, and everybody, you know what I'm saying, hunted their own animal, like I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's practical in this climate, but I'm just saying theoretically, if everybody was self-sustaining, how you gonna tell them what to do? They ain't even listening to you. Like they don't even like
But
that's
that's
where
why I'm
I'm at
saying we gotta
as
address
far as
the fact.
politics is concerned with me. I don't care who get voted next year, and I don't care how much the taxes go up and none of that shit. None of that shit. I don't feel no type of way. I don't feel no different. None of that shit. It don't affect me. You know what I'm saying? It may affect me, but it don't affect me. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I pay 5% at the grocery store in Kentucky, but 10% in Tennessee, yeah, it affects me. But either way it go, I'm getting taxed is the way I'm looking at it. So you know what I'm saying? Like like if I grow the shit in my house, the same tomatoes I just bought in Kentucky or Tennessee, I pay zero tax because I produce my own seed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying like your participation is very much needed for any type of control.
I feel you. Like
You know what I'm saying?
I,
Like so
But is
like
your participation not also needed for to govern to like that's what the word government is. You know what I'm saying? So to govern your own self, you also like you're in a place. Like if you're gonna leave, then okay. But if we here, then and we don't move as a collective and think about it on that level, then it's kind of like giving up. It's kind of like saying I'm done. You know what I'm saying, whatever coming. You know what I'm saying. So that's how I'm seeing
Can I
Let me
Then
can I
add what you're saying,
say
Rodney.
something before
Real
I forget it real quick?
Okay, go ahead,
yes.
Marcel.
Whose TV is
Oh, my bad, man. This is my brother's stuff. Hold on.
oh
All right, it's cool. Go ahead, Marcel.
so okay, so the Unabomber. So this Unabomber. Everybody do y'all know who the Unabomber is?
Yes.
Oh, look, I should have made your ass wait. You about to sway the conversation.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. Listen. So everybody thinks the Unabomber was crazy. I mean, he was like he blew up people. But listen, if you actually listening to his reasoning, it's literally what kind of what Melvin has been saying that we're just so used to just following what everybody's telling us what to do.
Yeah.
And so his point was to show that and
I
prove it.
started
So
over.
that's
You
why
went
he
on
brought.
mute for some reason.
Oh, because somebody called me. I said the
Oh, okay.
point like he was making was that we follow everything that the government tells us, like we do. Oh, but yeah. So, anyways, follow everything the government tells us. So he was sending out the letters to show that we just open up whatever we get because we're conditioned to do so.
Right.
That's how that started. But he ended up out there living in the forest without a cell phone, without any type of technology, because he was like, it's just all a mind control, basically. That's all it is just a whole
I
mind
mean,
control. So he had a point.
and I
He
think
just
that's
like
what Rodney was
executed it
talking
wrong.
about. I think that's what Rodney was talking about. That what you were saying he was trying to get away from as far as the technology and how that was affecting him. Like though that to Melvin's point, it might seem like a slow process. You can get somebody to crash out, do some shit that's gonna land them in jail forever. You feel me? Because hey, they already in one they already in some fucked up circumstances. Two, they recognize it. Three, they feel helpless, so they just lash out. Like these are all impulse. And with us being in this system, like she said, we don't been conditioned for survival. And a lot of us don't want to recognize that, like, yeah, me and everybody on this panel, I say we like the one in a million in our friend group. You feel me? Like Marcella said, I always say the unpopular shit. You at home in here because at the end of the day, we all represent that in our, in our friend, our circle of friends. And that's because of the way that we look at things. And some people we think that everybody supposed to see that shit. But it's like having magic glasses on that you can't make nobody else see the same shit that you see though. So as far as making everybody do this across the board, that's like more than theoretical. No disrespect, it's almost fantasy because it's like everybody is born at different times. You feel me? Everybody gonna wake up at different times. You feel me? Niggas gonna come across this shit, do what's necessary for their path. But the fact that we think like it's gonna have to be something done, for us to override this system. Yeah, that's part of the conversation that we're talking about. But realistically, man, it's too many people in your family that ain't gonna let you do it. In your very household. You know what I'm saying? That don't see the
Let you
things,
what?
huh?
Ain't gonna let you what?
Ain't gonna let you override the system. Because at the end of the day, this is warfare. And it's a covert war. It's not, hey, we finna knock on your doors, drop nukes. This is the new nuke. I'm gonna give it to you, say it's for your benefit. You feel me? Rodney even made this point a long time ago, and I'm just not getting a little gist of what he mean by it. They put this shit out here for us at a certain point in time. You feel me? They could have easily took down all the towers or whatever the fuck they had to do to stop internet from thriving. We could have stayed in olden times. There's places in the world, as well as in America, that they still in the olden times because they're not dealing with the technology and the internet, right? That allows us for us to share information and see different things in real time. But it don't change the facts is we dealing with a cultural clash and we dealing with people that are trying to usurp or people that was already here. Some of us was brought over here and some of us was already here. So when you
Oh,
dealing with that, starting with that equation, you feel me? You can't leave that off the board because we talking about coming out of slavery and then comparing these motherfuckers to us. You can never do that. That's how can you compare the master to the slave? That's like saying, shoot, the rape victim deserved it.
I have so much
Because
to say.
Shit, you can't compare the two. The rape victim, she don't deserve that shit. This nigga need to control his impulses. You feel me? But at the same time, I understand how a woman could tell another woman, look, next time you go outside, don't do this. You feel me? That's what left you open to this. You know what I mean? So we all got to learn to protect ourselves, and then we got to learn to not blame other people. I get what you're saying on that. Learn to not blame other people, but that's once you get past survival mode. The majority of our people are still in survival mode because of the propaganda that's spewed, whether it's through the internet or through the local TV channel. You feel me? The way that the narratives of these stories are told, it's subtle. You feel me?
There we
Like you
go.
said, it's a slow death. But once I change your psyche, basically your point of view and how you see things, you know what I'm saying? I splinter your identity to the point it's like you don't see this shit as a black man or a black woman. You see this shit as, oh, we all one. But that's not how the story is being told. The story is not being told as though we are one. So, in the sense of you listening to the story and actually digesting what's going on and developing uh, an opinion that will properly represent you, it's hard to do when you have that mind frame because you're gonna speak and say what would be politically correct in America, but that ain't necessarily what is real in your life. Like we might say, look, hey, it don't matter who the fuck get voted in, long as I do what I supposed to do, that shit don't affect me. That's not true. Because just like you sit there and say we gotta pay taxes, like bruh, it might be a slow death, but the fact of knowing that you gotta give some shit to a motherfucker, if you live long enough, not getting killed by your brothers in the hood that's in the same circumstances, that might clock out because they spirit broke. You feel me? Like we always talk about how spiritual we are. You know what I'm saying? And that we actually spirits, but we can't see that other people are spirits are broke. This is why the system works because they have broken our spirit through conditioning, as some of y'all mentioned. You feel me? But we got to recognize that's the point that we starting at. And if we not starting at that point, you can't formulate equations in your mind to override your own situation. You know, before you get to the government, because the government is ran by people like us, people that feel like, you know, hey, I know what's best for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they should be doing it this way. It's their fault they don't know this. Like, shit, that's, you know, that's the boule mentality. You feel me? The
Let me,
same motherfuckers was like talking about our parents wasn't shit.
yeah,
Because we be real, we like the first generation in our family. The eyes is like, nigga, I seen that shit. The fuck?
Right.
Ain't what
all
they
right.
been telling me
So
this shit been.
yeah, I mean, and that's true. And but speaking to your very last point, you know what I'm saying, we the first and our family, that ain't true for everybody. And a related point to that is how many people do you think have become so-called conscious in the last hell in the last year, right?
Can we
Right.
So let's
define the
say let's
definition of conscious? Because everybody ain't the same
what
type of conscious.
well, I mean, okay, so just you know what I'm saying, aware of certain untruths and starting to decipher some things, and you know what I'm saying,
Because
we can definitely spend an hour discussing that.
because
Yeah,
But
people,
just
we
black
ain't
people
hold
are
on, hold
That's
on,
a
conscious.
hold
good
on.
definition.
Let me
you
finish.
right.
Yeah,
That ain't
let
what
me
I
finish.
meant. Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, I'm what I was saying about the whole conscious thing was, uh, oh shit, damn it.
Last year, the people that just
Oh
came the
yeah,
last year.
yeah, I was saying in a year's time, so many people have become conscious. We can say flat Earth conscious. We can say black
Right.
conscious. We can say they just watched Hidden Colors for the first time. Whatever that is,
Health
I'm just
conscious.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever health conscious, whatever that consciousness is, whatever that progress they've made. Do you think it will or will not be paid more than likely forward to their children? What I'm getting
Yes.
is knowledge and growth is exponential, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying we don't take the defeatist mentality, we don't take the backseat mentality when we talk about these things. We need to take the optimistic, you know what I'm saying? We can make a change approach rather than looking at all the hurdles, you know what I'm saying? Like, as in they
And
hurdle.
you know,
What the
So
fuck?
tell me
you
this.
know,
I got a question.
Go ahead, right?
hold on real quick, right?
Okay, go
Responding to
ahead.
something. Let me adjust it real quick.
Go ahead.
Uh, you know, I am not only a nigga, but I am the nigga president. So, you know, I don't never think like it's over for us. All I was saying is the process of waking up. When you sleep,
What again?
whether you know it or not, if you get a good night's rest, you get at least 3 dreams. You feel me? So I'm saying like our people coming out of slavery, we was definitely fucking sleepwalking. You feel me? We was definitely fucking sleepwalking. Now we probably was on the first dream. By the time, you know, our grandparents came around, you feel me? Now I ain't saying everybody gonna wake up at the same time. I'm just saying it's a process. And when I say we like the first generation that's awake, I'm talking about current events. Yeah, it's been generations of us that's been talking about conscious shit, but a lot of that shit has been conscious to what happened in history. And even the elders say that when I go build with them, they like, man, y'all niggas, y'all is on it because of the efforts that we put in. And I say, yeah, you right. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be here if you weren't trying to wake up. So we was allowed to be born, you feel me, awake. It was questions that you was asking when we was kids, nigga, that you ask now. And it's like, nigga, that nigga always been this nigga. What are you talking about? Absent of somebody forcing him to do it because you want to acquiesce to your parents. You know what I'm saying? We all did it. But
Uh,
it don't change, huh?
let me bring this back real quick because we went way left, which was good. You know what I'm saying? It
It's
was
gonna
good,
take for
but I do wanna kind of get back to the whole thing. So the whole thing was, is it just as important to have the right to vote today as it was when they was actually fighting for that right? Do we have more
yeah,
power in our absence? Is what I'm getting at. Like, do we have more power in our self-sustainment? You know what I'm saying? Do we have just as much power by being and doing our own
Yes.
as much as we did, you know what I'm saying, by being able to participate or
So
as
I
much
say
as
you
we
hitting on the point. Because anytime you playing within somebody's system, it's like being in somebody's house. You never going the house always win.
Right.
the only downfall to that would be it would lose jobs for other people. So then like
specify
it would
what you mean.
just like okay, so say everybody started growing their own foods. Cool, great. That means
Uh-huh.
all the grocery stores would shut down, which means cash registers, produce people, shipping people, all of them would lose jobs. It would slowly start to trickle down and fall and crumble. It's not just for like everything would crumble. Literally.
Yeah.
Everything. Like that's
But
literally the basis of
That's the
society.
point.
I get what you're saying, but there's one thing that is built into nature, and that's called adaptation, right? So when something don't go your way, you find another way. What I'm saying is this needs to be a collective effort. How do we
That's
build community outside of the one that's given to us, and how do we make that shit work before we just jump into the we ain't doing this shit no more, that boat? We ain't trying to just jump into it. We trying to find another way as a collective. And I'm saying, can we effectively do that? You know what I'm saying? No longer participate in the given systems and be successful.
some
I
of us,
personally
but
don't
that's
see
where
why we
natural
can't.
selection comes into play. The
But how do
ones
you
who
not
survive will
participate
survive.
in? How do you not participate in a system without leaving
Mhm.
what their system has, the place that their system has control over?
You saying
And
like physically leaving, right?
yeah, and then also, how do you know what I'm saying? Like, cause like, okay, not voting is one thing, but paying taxes and doing all of the rest of the stuff is continuing to participate in the system. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, and to that I would say, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's why we gotta build on it, and we gotta, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like if they can so called send people to the moon, I'm sure we can figure this one out. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
Very true.
If
Oh,
they
back
can,
to our
if they
earlier
can shoot a
conversation.
rocket into air, if they can shoot a missile into air, that can track a goddamn airplane in another continent and blow that bitch up, we can figure out how to fucking not participate and pay tax. That's all fuck I'm saying.
Oh
Milton.
yeah,
So
I
wait,
mean
back
it's a
to
way to
your
be done. I'm just saying like it ain't uh, like to get everybody to participate with whatever we talking about. Like whichever way we go to get everybody to participate is pretty much impossible.
Yeah, and
It when I
I don't
say
think
everybody.
for real. I don't really mean that when I say I'll be speaking theoretically like
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying if everybody just said I'm tapping the fucker because some people love this shit. You know what I'm saying? This shit is for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I won't negate that fact, but just from a theoretical, you know what I'm saying, aspect, could it even work without the participation of the people, you know what I'm saying, for whom it is for and for whom it affects negatively? I don't think it could. So could you create your own within, you know what I'm saying, and maybe be a minimalist in the system and live a much happier, more fruitful, you know what I'm saying, existence?
but
Oh yeah.
so can I say two things to that? One, again, back to some jobs. Like, okay, for me in acting, that job in itself is the complete opposite of what you're describing.
Say
Like
that again.
that would
What is? What job?
be like with my acting thing. Like that
Oh,
would
okay.
be getting into that whole society in general. It's the complete opposite of like being a minimalist. Which, as we both know, I would rather go out there and live in the forest if I could. So that'd be my take. And so some of us, I mean, like I would have to participate some for money, but that doesn't mean I don't have to spend my money on the BS that comes with the world. I could just use it on like my farm and like me living out there, like doing that. But that's just one example of it gets sticky with some situations like that. Two,
Okay. Go ahead. My
way
bad.
way back to the beginning of the combo to the government nuking us. This is why I'm getting a dual citizenship because I'm getting out of there. That's that.
Hey, but real quick though. So, what was it? What was that last point you made before you said something about nuking?
Oh, some jobs like that are just they get sticky. Like you can like you would regardless that would be participating. Me anything in that realm is participating to me
Oh
because
yeah. Okay. So I
I'm
remember what you would say. You were saying you would. You know what I'm saying, for money. So they just created a whole system of currency called cryptocurrency. We don't have to. We don't have to. We do because we like it and we're used to it. We don't have to participate. We can literally brainstorm and come up with our own shit. Is what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? We come up with our own system of currency. You know what I'm saying? We need the compliance of enough people to make it work. True enough. It's not an overnight process. You know what I'm saying? Just like motherfuckers who bought cryptocurrency at first got the best deal out of it. You know what I'm saying? The shares was real cheap. The shit ain't as cheap now. You know what I'm saying? Because the market getting thick. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a, what you say, bro?
I said in the beginning they had to take some losses, but they bounced back in a
Right.
big way.
Yeah, because I mean, shit, it's all types of Bitcoins out there now. It ain't even just Bitcoin. It's all kind of shit. I mean, you know. So my thing is that we can, you know, we are. I think, just my humble opinion, we in control of our reality. You know what I'm saying? We
Facts.
we
Facts.
we are just, you know what I'm saying. We're complicit if we want to be complicit, and we're not if we're not. You know what I'm saying? It is that simple, and it ain't at the same time. There are socio-economical constraints, life experiences, and things that shape our decisions, especially for certain individuals. You know what I'm saying? Some people are much more strong-minded than others. We tend to be on the much more strong-minded side. Some people just weak and vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some people who just have a silver spoon and everything going their way. So that why change it? You know what I'm saying? So it's sensitive in that respect, but at the same time, ultimately you have control over everything. You know what I'm saying? Uh I mean, you can dip right now. You can say, you know what? I'm finna save my whole next fucking month's check. I'm finna apply for this job in this city. Let's just say it's fucked up where you live at, right? I'm finna save all my money, right? And I'm finna You know what I'm saying? I'm finna save 5 racks up. And by the end of this year, I'm gonna be my cell phone died. By the end of this year, I'm moving to a new city, you know what I'm saying, to do something to better myself. A lot of people don't even think like that, is what I'm getting at. So,
But why would
you know what I'm
somebody
saying?
not think like that?
Well, I'm just saying because of just the shit that they taught, and everybody just don't think the same. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't think
I
the
heard it
same.
put like this. I'm gonna let you go right back into your point. I heard it
Uh,
put like this. From day one, we're taught to be distracted. So by the time
Distracted.
we're
So
grown,
you saying everybody or people needs
what you say? Okay, let me finish up real quick. I think Rodney's gonna say something. From day one, we taught to be distracted. So by the time we grown, we damn near experts on being distracted. We can teach a TED talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about what it's gonna take for people to be able to come up out of it and pull themselves up out of it, it's gonna be the ability to be able to concentrate. But when you are already delved in this shit like all of us are, and we what less than probably 15% of the population, which means nigga, you can't control everything that you are interfacing with when you go out into the public or when the public come to you. You know what I'm saying? And the way that people are programmed or conditioned is through symbols, repetition, and damn, what's the fucking other symbols, repetition? It's three things. But once you see these things over and over in society, like there's symbols everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And you
oh yeah.
constantly got to go down this street or travel this road. So the subtleties of these symbols, you feel me? It corrects you or directs you without you even, you know what I'm saying, having the ability to say, I don't want to participate. Yes, we can lessen our participation in the system, but at that point, you know, it's like, shit, nigga, you still participate. You feel me? And that's like somebody, you know, so-called being awake and knowing that the way that church is designed to try to put you back to sleep, and they still go, and it's like, shit, I know it ain't, you know what I'm saying, but I be wanting to go see my family and da da da. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, the subtleties and the symbols is all through the church. So through that repetition, you gonna be right back in it. You know what I'm saying? Over time. And even if you're not, you're gonna be wasting so much of your time or splitting so much of yourself and your psyche to the point that's a part of you that you could be using to build yourself up. You know, we know a lot of this is inner work. You know what I'm saying? Like for us to even be able to come out and have these conversations and express ourselves like this, and you know, bro, for us to get to the point where we're acting on being self-sufficient, working towards that, that comes from getting your mind right. You know what I'm saying? The main key point of conditioning is these people mentally have been broken down to the point, shit, they don't even know how to refuse if they wanted to. You feel me? Like when you born into this shit 3 generations in, it's like, oh, okay, how do you get stuff? Oh, you gotta have money. Oh, okay. How do you learn stuff? You gotta go to school. Oh, okay. In my neighborhood is what? Public school. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, parents don't start off economically straight enough to even send you to a place where you can even think outside the box by interacting with different people, as well as being exposed to different forms of education that you're not gonna get in a public school. And through that process of allowing you to be able to wake up in your own generation, because you know it's still a process of how you're going to express what's in you to the society that you was born into. So you had to, you know, we had to go through the process of going to school or so-called interacting with the public is basically what I call it. In order to realize
Sorry.
how to express the things that's already in us. So when we having these conversations, it's like I feel like the main thing is we keep having these conversations to point us back to us. Recognize one that we less than 15% of the population. You feel me? When you're in a situation where this is not your natural, you know what I'm saying, state of being, your natural climate or environment, you feel me? These things affect the way that you think too. These things affect the way that your food grows,
Yeah.
therefore affecting how much health you have. Yes, we have been going on generation after generation, but we must recognize deformities have developed through us not having the proper nutrition from one generation to the next. So as much as I can see a brother or sister making a wrong decision, I could look a little further and see, you know what I'm saying, a handicap somewhere that is leading to that decision, and what makes it wrong for me, or wrong for them, I should say. What makes it wrong for them in my eyes is if you say you're trying to, better yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you're not doing the things to better yourself in the situation that you in. Because until you acknowledge the situation you in and be able to stand up in that situation, you don't have the power to look outside. So of course people gonna be in the hood still doing the shit of the hood because they don't even have the power to go on vacation to know it's somewhere else. I thought everything was Nashville as a kid. You feel me? To the point that people coming on TV, I'm like, oh, they from Nashville. You feel me? Just because the vibes they was giving. All the while not knowing it's a deeper connection that made us relate. You know what I'm saying? And it's because of where we come from. Whether we was born there, this generation, this shit was born in us. That's why we look the way we. That's why we concerned with the things that we are concerned because a deep down thing embedded in us called genes and DNA, and this shit pops up just like it skip around. The child look like certain family members that you know what I mean? Like, damn, who the fuck this nigga look like? Then you go to family reunion, like, man, he look just like Uncle such and such. It's
Man.
the same thing with the knowledge. Certain generations pop up with things that are key for each generation. But as much as we got this savior complex, we think across the board it's gonna be a blanket change. The change that Melvin is making is gonna reverberate for his gene. You feel me? That's gonna be his eternal life. You know what I'm saying? As well as the people who take the time to even check out who he is. You feel me? But for the most part, that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not realistic. You feel me? We just gotta be the type of people that are humanitarian enough to put ourselves in the way of people to plant the seeds in it. But like I learned a long time ago, you can't give everybody all the juice in one sitting because they're gonna be like, this nigga crazy. He trying to talk about everything at once and what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta drop a
Right.
little something, leave some breadcrumbs and let them follow you. You feel me? And then once they follow you, be like, look, bro, nigga, the fact that you was seeking the knowledge, that's all it takes. You feel
Hey
me?
man, I
You
love
we
y'all,
always
man.
trying to
Take
figure
it
it
easy.
out. I had an
Now
80-year
hold
old.
on. Now nigga, what you cooking?
Huh?
Now nigga, what you cooking? You ain't finna just go eat and be like, fuck
Right,
these.
look, I'm
What you eating?
Some vegetable
Hey,
stir fry,
last
man.
point though, like I had this little 80-year-old lady tell me, look, bro, I'm just trying to figure it out. And I told her, I said, man, dang, so we all just trying to figure it out. You be thinking when a motherfucker get old, they know what's going on. And that's how a lot of people was tricked into religions or any other habit that we are participating in today, thinking somebody else know more than you on what's important for you to bring forth in this life to add to the lives of everybody, including yourself. The thing is, we just all got to be ourselves. And we're not allowed to do that for the most part within this system. Or I take that back. A lot of us haven't had the time to figure out how to be ourselves within a system that keeps you busy being distracted. And that's the only way the system works. If you're paying attention, that's the participation. Not to mention how it affects your money, things that I mean, like I said, that's something that you pay attention to. So I guess if you paying attention, period. If you need money, you gotta pay attention to the things that that affect your money. So as much as we don't want to participate, it go back to what Rodney said. Like, and most niggas don't want to deal with that. Like, nigga, we don't have to lead this motherfucker because the system operate on the backs of us, in the back of most black people not knowing, hey, shit, the system is built off of you. It's still ran off of you. Only way it's gonna stop being ran off you if you leave. They never gonna just be like, shit, you know what? We done did niggas dirty long enough. They gonna do just like they do with the FDA shit and everything else. They come out 20 years later and say they gonna apologize for enslaving niggas in a minute finally. But it don't matter though. You already did the shit. You feel me?
Right.
So it's imperative on us to recognize our history here as well as our original history where we come from and be like, man, look, I gotta do what the fuck ever it take to get the fuck up out of here. Nigga, it's criminal to be a nigga in America anyway. If you don't work, we're gonna put you in jail. And even if you work and you want to go drink one night, you know what? You stayed out too long. You feel me? Like, no. So we can't never feel like you can be a good nigga in this system and you can be free. And to me, that's the same thing with trying to go off the grid because you can go off the grid all you want to. Next thing you know, they gonna come snatch your plants up, and they doing that shit. Like If everybody started doing that shit in one area that they already occupying and they using that shit for economic gain and they not ready to change that system, guess what? They gonna start making it against the law in that county for you to grow your own food. And they already doing it. To a point, it's like, shit, you ain't gotta worry about it. If you buck enough to keep doing it, nigga, they gonna pull up. So you know what I'm saying? They gonna pull up, nigga. It ain't a matter of, hey, shit, is we scared? It's a matter of shit. How many more of us got to buck the system? And hey, enough of us don't realize, look, you can buck this system all you want to, but this is how this plays out. Like, it's not hopelessness. It's insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. I hate to be the one to say this shit, bro. And this ain't coming from me, because you know I don't talk like this. We got to leave, nigga. Nah, bro. I wanted to go see Africa, but having this conversation with y'all niggas right now, it's like, bro, I don't know how a nigga think he ever gonna be free here. You second class citizen. Period. That's what black mean. That's what your skin mean
I'm
on
going
this
to
land
Africa.
instead of being occupied. You feel me?
My
You,
friend.
you see how we do
Hey,
anywhere
bro.
we go without occupying force? What make you think Homeland Security, like, I mean, we know the laws and shit, like Homeland Security is set up to deal with
I see you running.
any threat on land, you feel me, as well as abroad. So it's like, come on, bro. If we tried that shit, we'd be a threat. You feel
Man,
me? And we already know we the threat.
that's
So at
the
this point, you got to ready to move around. That's
yeah.
the next step.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I think that, that's the
I
whole
know Carol
I think that's the
soon.
whole I think that's the whole move that they trying to counter, you know what I'm saying, before we even think about making it with United Nations and shit like that. But my thing is that huh?
I said, but you can't stop the rain, bro.
Man, that's that you know what? That's true and it ain't true. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is that, they got a
You gotta
thing called
stop the rain. All they did
allocated
was bro.
weather engineering is very real. You know what I'm saying? Like we control this reality, and I think that's part of when my paradigm comes in because we get, you know what I'm saying. This is deep. You know what I'm saying on a aspect of physicality, but you know what I'm saying. So basically, what this boils down to is, you know what I'm saying, the choices we make. You know what I'm saying. Uh, are null and void. There's no escaping the system. There's, you know what I'm saying? There's, you said
I'm
it's
saying
not hopelessness, but there's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's how it's just going to play out. And
is
what
that the
all
point?
I'm saying, go ahead.
Is that the point you making? Because I mean, we can look at the definition for a system. You know what I'm saying? And it's obvious you set up a system for it to flow a such a way. You feel me? And no matter if there's a bug in the system, you can always do what? Fix the bug, and the system continues to flow. Like I said, it's people done bug this shit. We bug the system on a day-to-day basis. As niggas, you can't tell me it's not a day that you don't break the law. You feel me? But it don't change the fact you are living within a system and you're not even the majority of the people around to make a difference, even if we all did what the fuck we wanted to as the 15%. You know how easy it'd be like sticking out like a sore thumb. Like when the runaway slaves used to run away, they beat everybody that was left. You feel me? So as much as I would like, man, nigga, I would love to just dip and go to Africa. I'm a real nigga. I'm gonna ride with my motherfucking niggas until we figure this shit out, or until we outlive these motherfuckers. Because
Man,
at the end of the day, that's what the fuck the shit boiled down to. Evil ain't gonna always persist. It's a cycle. So, nigga,
okay.
I might not
So,
live to see the end of that cycle. You feel
so,
me?
so
But
that's what you're
my
saying.
Can I?
Hold on, Marcel. Let me question him real quick on the whole
Okay.
cycle thing. So what you saying is, and this is something that you know what I'm saying, I'm rocking with, is that they we are this is you know what I'm saying cyclical, right? You know what I'm saying? This is a cycle,
Mhm.
which means ultimately that their operations are on linear time. I know it sounds contradictory, but you know what I'm saying, all good things must come to an end. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is what brings that to an end? Is that the intentions and the will of the people to have it come to an end, or is it
What have
just
what come to an end?
compliance, or is it just compliance and laying down and not trying to do nothing about it? You know what I'm saying? So like we know that everybody's not gonna go grow their own food. But what is the ultimate goal for your life is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to do the best for you. And ultimately you're gonna pay it forward to your children. You know what I'm saying? Red, you
Right.
got 6 kids, you got 6 kids, I got 3, Rodney got 2. You know what I'm saying? That's 11 children that's gonna have a different outlook on life. And that's 11 more children than, you know what I'm saying, was around when we was kids. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, it,
Don't
it
leave them.
grows, it grows, huh?
I said, don't leave Kyrie 2 out. That's 13. I need that magic number,
Well,
bro.
I would have said it, but he ain't on here no more.
I
But
know, I know. I looked up and seen that.
yeah,
Like, hold on.
but you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we pay it forward, you know what I'm saying, to our kids. Like you said, we may not see the end of it, but we gotta start some damn way. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right. Hell,
So all I'm saying is I don't think you're gonna get everybody, you know what I'm saying, on the bandwagon, but I think the ultimate goal is to, you know what I'm saying, to be self-sufficient and to really gain knowledge of self. I don't think that this world is meant to be dwelled on the in terms of how most people think about it, right? So you know what I'm saying, we deal with the physical a lot more than what we should. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole nother side of this. Like, how do we, is the ultimate goal of the person who can break away from the matrix, is the ultimate goal, you know what I'm saying, to figure out how to, you know what I'm saying, tap into that other side. And through that other side, do you live eternally? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so many questions I got. And you know what I'm saying, with the stuff that I be looking at is just like, you know what I'm saying, I don't even have time to try to participate in the current shit. My whole thing is, you know what I'm saying, just making sure I'm good and the people around me is good, and to spread the word to the people that want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I don't
definitely
have no
agree.
intentions on trying to change no political systems. I don't have no intentions on trying to, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what they charging for taxes. I'm trying to pay as least of it as I can so I can sit here and pay all the taxes no matter who president, or I can, let's say there's 10 things I gotta pay taxes on. If I can provide 8 of them for myself, I'm still paying less taxes than everybody else. So you know what I'm saying?
Right. And
That's
that's what the slaves was thinking. Like they was like, and not knocking them. You feel me? I feel like that's a good point that you making. Like they was like, nigga, we gonna do whatever it take to outlast this shit, to make sure our bloodline outlasts it. All of them didn't live, but if they would have did certain things to jump out of pocket, not to say that's what you saying, but a lot of our people they gonna hear how we talking and think that's what we own. But if they would have did certain things to jump out of pocket too soon, you feel me? They bloodline wouldn't have carried on. You feel me? To the point we here having these conversations, still talking about creating that same bloodline, and we further along in the process than we was then. As much as it may feel like on certain hands they done tighten the clinches on where we see things, but like you said, if you do what's necessary to keep furthering your bloodline, to me that's eternal life. You know what I'm saying? If one generation to the next one can figure out how to thrive, get past surviving, you feel me? I feel like that's gonna come from one generation or at least 2 generations sacrifice. You feel me? Like we talking about becoming self-sufficient, working towards that to where at least by the third generation, like 'cause that's what we at, 3 generations removed from slavery to where we can actually look back and see the effects and say this is what we need to change now. So 3 generations later, after we sacrifice, you feel me? Our kids gonna be able to do what's necessary. But it's necessary to do that because we was put back so many generations. You feel me? Just on the fact of having to uplift other people. But even with that, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna dwell on that so much so that I don't do for myself. But I do have to acknowledge, like, damn, instead of beating myself up, I gotta recognize, look, my granddaddy wasn't able to do for himself. You feel me? All the way, like I'm allowed to do more. You feel me? And each generation is allowed to do more because we kick down more doors because we become conscious of different things and how to deal with them. You feel me? It's a cycle. like you were saying.
Can
Man,
I can
yeah,
I
go ahead.
first
My
of all,
bad. Go ahead.
first of all, this is just a small comic relief. My friend decided to weigh in, who just got here, and said that we're all in a computer simulation anyways, and so that is just
Ooh,
also
we gonna get to that because I was
What's the
just gonna say,
definition
as
of
much as
computer?
we act like the environment or the so-called atmosphere above us don't affect us, shit.
Who at your house?
my god best friend Quinn.
Man, put that nigga on the screen. What he mean by computer?
He really mean you could tell him what the guy
Girl, bro.
Come on,
Shit.
Queen.
It's
Go
just how
ahead.
it is, man. It's like it depends on like everybody believe they Jesus story and all that. Really it's like, bro, this the Matrix, man. We really living in a computer. Like
Mm,
it's hard
Okay,
to
let
it's
me ask
hard
you a
to
question.
explain.
Uh,
body bag.
let me ask you a question. When you say computer, who built the computer? Like, what's the generator? Like, what's the engine? Is it
The
Intel inside?
generation,
What kind of computer?
and this the biggest RAM computer ever ran, and the creator, the Almighty, is the wrecking ball of this motherfucker.
who
So
is
do you think that we could get some software to
Huh?
install in this computer? You know what I'm saying?
Now you can't uninstall it because you can uninstall it for yourself, but trying to
Ooh,
go against it, you gonna die. So it's like shit, you gotta try to get right within your own community, your own peoples, like how y'all was saying, like with your children, like on the way. If you go out there and stand on the pole talking about they coming, they gonna get you. So you feel me? Ain't you can't do it like that.
okay. He
But
said
it's
he
like
said you
it's like have you heard of like God being a woman?
Most definitely.
yeah.
Okay, so like the closest thing to God walking on earth is a female. You feel me? So like I feel like the God that the white man gave us as slaves was a man, and that's the God that they are projecting to the earth. You feel me? But
You absolutely right.
obviously, you feel me? It might seem like I'm rambling, but obviously it would have to be like a woman that would want to create and want to give offspring and want to birth. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying, that it's just one theory. It's a crazy theory out there, man. God's in his room or whatever, and like his mom comes in, and he just shoves the whole universe up under his bed. And every time you walk in, what are you doing, God? He's like, oh, I'm just playing with my toys. And goddamn it, he throwing us up under the bed, this earthquake and volcano and all type of shit. Goddamn. So I don't know. I just feel like, man, shit. If this God person is really, really for us, then he must really have the sense of humor that nobody else has. Because like
Come
my
on now.
guy God was the biggest gangster ever to walk the earth. He killed millions and thousands of people in celestial judgment. You feel me? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, bro, you gonna really kill the firstborn of everybody in the town because what's the name didn't put the blood on his door? So my son might have been 38 years old, and you gonna kill him because he was my firstborn. I didn't even do that, God. Why is you doing this? Like, what are you? That was my boy Joe. He killed him.
You ain't shit.
That's the Old Testament, God. So I feel like whichever writer put this spinoff on this personality of God, I'm just kind of confused because if we are
Man.
created in the image of God, it's a lot of people who
they're fucked up?
yeah, like if this is his image, then he ain't kind of right. And I feel like
Man,
he
what
just
is this?
misled.
So where you been hiding this nigga at?
Yeah, this is Quinn.
He should have been on with us
This
because
is the one
nigga,
we
this
have these. No, Melvin, these
Anybody else
convos are
world?
like you should hear it. It goes deep, yo. It's a.
all
I
right, but I
have
got
this
a I got
like
a question. I got a question for brother. So Quinn,
I
and
know.
how
It's
you
time
feel?
to go back for the two. Hold on.
Hold,
Hey, Queen.
answer my question real quick.
What is
All right, Melvin, nice ass. Go ahead.
No, I got a question for him.
Go
So,
ahead.
speaking to the whole God concept, because I'm right there with you as far as the personality of the Abrahamic religions, that God. Do you see God or what we attribute, you know what I'm saying, creation to as God? Do you see it as a duality? So, God is both good and evil. You know what I'm saying? It's one almighty force, the most high,
Yeah.
what you want to call.
Okay.
So
I'm with you. Yep.
is it one entity that you can tap into and
Yeah.
use?
He's on to it. He's
You know what
on
I'm saying?
to it.
So
There's one
my
energy
thing
source
is what
that
you
you
were saying
need.
about a computer, right? So you know what I'm saying, I can have a malicious software, right? But you can create a fix for that bug, you know what I'm saying? So why is that not a case the case for humanity? Why is there not a solution for our immediate problems, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the hacker hasn't either been born that we need the developer of this software that we need to overturn the fight. I don't think this person has been created yet, or if this is the Messiah or whoever. But like, I firmly believe that there's one energy source that you can tap into to use for whatever will that you want to use in life, whether it be good or evil. Now these white folk done tapped all the way into the universe, the law of attraction, whatever anybody wants to call it, and really manifested what they wanted. Now, as Negroes, we didn't think about world conquest. We probably didn't want to leave where we was at.
They
We
still
probably
don't.
were like, damn, it's sweet right here. We probably like, damn, Shirley stay next door. We man, it's sweet. Them motherfuckers came over here. Man, this shit sweet. I said, I knew they were gonna say that shit. It's sweet. But you get the story though, you feel me? If we was evil as a race of people, we would have tapped into their force and used it for the same thing.
And he literally means like we can physically do whatever we will please. Like
You can
literally.
manifest what's going on. Man, I got so many stories where things that happened to me, and I look right to my side, and exactly what I spoke out my mouth was right there. It'd be so weird. Like I could be like, "Fuck, everything would be great if I had a gas can." I look over, I'm like, "Was that even right there before I even said that?" I'm
I'm
like,
really
"Really?"
enjoying all these conversations tonight.
What's happening? Melvin?
Yeah, what you say, good?
Okay. Nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
did you hear him?
What you say? I'm sorry, I got kids making noise. What you say?
Oh, I didn't know if you heard the end of his statement.
Yeah, no, I heard them about just manifesting gas cans and shit
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like whatever you think about gonna come to you though. So it's like subconsciously you could believe that you're not good enough at something or you weak, and that's exactly what the energy gonna bring to you if that's what you subconsciously truly
That's
believe.
that book I was
so
telling you about
so
Like you
earlier.
could be
so
telling
let me
people all
so
day, like,
so
man, I'm the
bro,
hardest SOB, man, I do this, I do that. You'll be like, damn.
and that's what I was trying to say earlier, you know what I'm saying, in our conversations when we was texting and stuff like that. If you believe you oppressed, then your ass gonna be oppressed. You know what I'm saying? If
Exactly.
you,
That's why I
if
say I'm
I got
not
you know what I'm
you.
saying,
oppressed.
I read the secret
it's
that book.
all up to you. You know what I'm saying? Everything is up to you. You choose what you participate in. If you choose and participate in the system, then you choose to participate in it. If you gotta pay tax when you go to Kroger, then damn it, you gotta pay tax. But if you don't have to pay tax somewhere else, then you still saving money. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know what I'm saying? But maybe the goal is to not have to go to Kroger. You know what I'm saying?
I said, not.
And is the goal has to also be not to start a business and not to need insurance and not to need any other thing
I,
that you have to go
You just love this.
and rely on somebody else to give you, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, like we already understand they have been caught with the insurance fraud and all of this type of stuff, higher interest rates for black people
With
and things like this, you know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like that's oppression.
you right. You absolutely right.
these are the reasons I don't like when black people say that we're all oppressed. Because I'll be damned if somebody says I'm oppressed. I'm not oppressed.
I
I
mean, but
experience.
you what I'm saying is like, okay, oppressed as a mind state is one thing, but if you saying that it's not possible that you could go into a bank next to Sally and y'all talk, or right behind Sally, or who are not being funny or nothing, but right behind a white woman, and y'all go, y'all the same credentials, like it was a case basically. I'll just tell you the case that's better. Where not a case, but an insurance investigation where they compared a black woman and a white woman that lived damn near on the same block. Same, the black woman had more degrees, all this, never had a traffic ticket. White woman had all these traffic tickets. Compared their insurance rates, and the white woman by far had a better rate. To
What is
me,
that
that's
oppression?
just a small example
Wait,
of
what?
of a collective, you know what I'm saying, like an overall system being run in this way. Just like you got to be worried kind of about the police officers in whatever way. If you feel like that, then you also got to be worried about the doctors. You got to be worried about the grocery stores. You got to be worried about the bank. You got literally the whole system. So if we don't say, I mean, okay, so if we say we don't participate, where you gonna go? Because you on somebody's land, everything on. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta leave. And that's ultimately all I'm saying.
So okay,
So
so
if
we
you
have
ain't gonna leave,
oh
then I'm sorry, but
no,
if you're not
keep
gonna
going.
leave,
Yeah.
if you're not gonna leave, then what do? Then you build your people up and you do what you can and you reach, you know what I'm saying, because your kids still gotta go to school with the same people that we saying don't really, that ain't gonna make it basically. They
So
just ain't gonna make it.
so that's two things. One to the first story, like, but is that oppression or is that racism though? Because I feel like oppression is a bit different and deeper than racism. That was a racist person just being a racist. I feel like I don't
Well, no, I mean it is oppression. 'Cause, I mean, oppression is
and
when an establishment or someone has control. You
So
know,
so
how
wait, so the second
racist
part, huh? Hold on. There's
results
two
in oppression.
because
right.
Quinn has a deeper meaning than mine anyway. So he said, "Here, tell your thing."
Okay, so look, the whole beef between white people and black people is strictly spiritual. Like
I
this,
think it's
this has been going
class.
on since Adam and Eve. So, would you believe that instead of biting the apple, Lucifer and Eve actually had sex?
Then what?
Would
Well, what
anybody
I
believe this?
well, man, I can't even answer that question.
Why?
Okay,
Why
but you
not?
make your
Because if
point.
you think that it was a literal apple, you've been misled.
He doesn't
No,
believe
no,
any of
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Like I can't even answer that
Ah,
question
well,
because let me hold on. Let me just say this real quick. I can't even answer that question because I know the truth behind where the story even came from. I want to
I
say
mean, the
it's
story's
about
all on the
sometime
walls everywhere.
where
So,
it's
like,
where it's really the goddess Haset giving the fruit from the tree of knowledge to I can't remember who it is, but Ashwa Kwesi got a whole video on it. You know what I'm saying? And it was a perturbation, a perversion of a story about fruitfulness and giving, which was, corrupted into, serpents and all this bullshit. And this all came with the desecration of the female, right? You know what I'm saying? This came with the desecration of matriarchal concepts. You know what I'm saying? When we turned into a patrilineal system. So, I mean,
The word.
I honestly can't, you know what I'm saying, really answer that on that standpoint because I just know better.
well, here's what happened. So, there's a Bible verse basically that says, I will put an enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So basically, Lucifer actually had sex with Eve, and this created the white devil that we know today, Cain. Cain was the first murderer. Check this man out. Cain reproduced, but this was not listed in many of these books of the Bible. All his people was white colored and was to be ruled by, you feel me, Lucifer himself. There will never be a time where blacks and whites can get along in that way, because the devil wants his people to go against the ones that the other guy made. So, like, in a nutshell, this is racism. Like, the white man is has been given the kingdom by the great light bearer, and we all fucked up.
All right,
Go
let
ahead.
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because this shit finna get deep. All right,
Oh
what
God,
is
I'm
your
never gonna make it to the store.
what is your circumstantial evidence for a Lucifer that ever existed?
Man, life today.
Lucifer is just energy.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about the deification, the personification of energy. We're not talking about a literal entity that gave birth to a certain pigmented people. So I'm just
Now, I
saying,
was
like,
just addressing how you was
Okay,
talking about like
nice.
the perversion on the wall. You feel me? Like the perversion is from the point of view. So we gotta add the point of view. Luke, whether you talking about Lucifer or the Almighty God, we talking about energies and energies on certain levels. You feel
yeah,
me? So
I know,
it happens
I know
that the
you.
energy
Know you hip to what I'm saying. I'm trying to see where bro at though, because he made it seem like, you know what I'm saying, white people came from a union between Eve and Lucifer, and I'm trying to see if he meant that literally or figurative. Is what I'm trying to figure out.
you know, I run with that baton because
It's
I know what
really
you're talking.
figuratively. I mean, what's the word?
Figurative.
Literally. No, literally. Because when you think about it, the first sinner and Lucifer. Check this out. Like, this it's just too golden for me to think that white people been on top from the jump. Why wouldn't the devil like be beefing with this man for real, for real? Like, who knows?
Okay, so to that I ask, what is your deciding factor? Like, what establishes as a proof that
Man, I just see it.
there was an origin. How do you decide what beginning of time was? Because it was in a book, or what is your
Yeah, I can't decide when the beginning of time is, but you can just go out your front door and see this today. Like, white people are in there, man. And even if the Bible was coerced and not written correctly, this story was taken from somewhere. And it has a meaning. And people overlook this verse. People be like, damn, what that mean? Your seed will bruise thy seed. What is a seed, y'all? What is a seed?
A child.
yeah?
Okay. Why is the Bible discussing two different seeds in the first book of Genesis? Which two seeds of people are these? Is this white and blacks, Asians and Japs? Like, what is this?
What about uh Egyptian and Greek?
Yeah, like who was this seed that they talking about that he will put enmity
What
between?
about
Now I
what
don't know
about
no race of people other than blacks and whites that's been beefing their whole goddamn lives. Every other race could give a damn about what the fuck the niggas is doing. These white motherfuckers is on our necks. They on our necks
For a reason.
like they belong to some type of cult that's secretly against niggas.
which ones?
Which one? Which you talking about, the whites or blacks?
The
Now,
whites, the
which
whites,
whites?
the whites at the top know the true story. They know they can never let niggas become shit. And all the white people that ain't in on it be like, why are the other white people in power so mean?
Okay,
Because they not
boom.
part of
So
the in crowd
you
that they established.
hold on, but you said something very important there. You said, why are the white people in power? It's the ones in power. So it's the feeling of empowerment that leads a person to make, you know what I'm saying, such brash decisions, right? So is it really a race thing, or is it really just wanting to maintain your status? And what is the catalyst for making you make such a decision? Is it just simply because somebody's black, or is there, let's say, catastrophic events that happen on Earth, and you want to make sure that your people survive? I mean,
Bruh,
we gotta go deep on this one because
bruh.
Look, y'all.
I gotta hold on. Let me jump in, man. Let me jump in
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead.
Let me jump in. I think we looking at it from like it's almost like if you did beats, for instance, and you quantize everything and it's perfect. You missing the jazz. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what we're doing in this conversation because you can look at everything that's going on. You can look at the videos being shown on the internet of how white people attacking black people, the things that's coming out of their mouth. This is taught. This is not just an isolated situation that's popping up here and there. It's not like a rash. You know what I'm saying? This is an organism. You feel me? So we dealing with a real life war that is more wrong for me to talk about on this internet live than it is for them to kill a black boy. You feel me? So I feel like when people look at it and they have this attitude like I did it, you discrediting yourself. You know what I'm saying? You saying that you ain't shit because if I did it, anybody can do it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we keep on we mixing up a lot of different things that really don't mix in conversation as far as as far as some of the comparisons, but when it comes to Jesus, God, however, like with the Bible and stuff, man, like the bro said just a minute ago, you know what I'm saying? It's one energy. It's whether we talking about the man with the white beard, or we talking about electricity itself, or we talking about, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? It's something that like it is an origin, it is something in control. You know what I'm saying? We gotta respect it to a certain extent, but we have to understand it to respect it. That's all. I kind of start rambling, but I was
yeah.
trying to, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like we really, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Well, let me ask this
Talking
real.
about that.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we try to overcomplicate it sometimes. Like I like how you put that because sometimes we try to overcomplicate energy. Energy got a high frequency and it got a low frequency. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with that, it's not necessarily like an outside entity that controls that, but the laws of energy. You feel me? Same thing with being a human. It's only but a certain amount of actions that we can do as humans, but the intentions is what make it different. The energy behind it. You feel me? So when I think a lot of people are using the biblical scriptures, especially from what I can hear from the brother, it sounds like he understands that, but he's using these parables to convey what he's trying to say across the board to whoever is listening.
And I
But
think that's what the Bible does, period. What you just said is what use the Bible has.
What was
So
that?
yeah,
so with
because
that
when
Can
being
you
said,
repeat that, please?
so with that
they
being
drive.
said, go ahead.
I'm just saying when they say chariots in the Bible, they just describing what they know of as vehicles at that point in time. You feel
Just
me?
like we caught them flying saucers because we had plates on the table.
Come on now, easy. That's easy. So what you
So
saying, Melvin?
what I'm saying is, with all that being said, could Lucifer even be an actual entity that contribute to the creation of a race?
Yes, he could be. We're not saying that
Ooh.
he
But
is a
so,
hundred
Listen,
percent, but
y'all.
yeah,
Y'all finna
man.
let me
but
chime
hold
in.
on, because
Chime in.
we talking about energy,
And y'all,
not
okay.
personification of ideas, which is what Lucifer represents. Is a personification of an idea.
He
We got to
represent that
understand
too.
that. So hold on,
Hey,
but we
hold on.
no, hold on. Let me
Let me
finish. Let-
I'm
Go
finna
ahead.
get you in order, like real quick. I'm gonna let you go, and then like after you, I want Rodney to go, and then I want Brad to go again. What's your name again? Is it Quinn?
Quit.
I don't want to give you nobody.
Just tell me.
What do you say? Terrence. My bad, bro.
I got
Is
me
that what
real
you
bad.
said, Terrence?
Quinn.
I said Quinn. Y'all need to
That's
laugh.
it.
But
That's
anyway, okay. Now, one thing that I think everybody is trying to avoid saying itself for Quinn is energy can be personified, a lower energy and a higher energy. And if you do the study of, black versus white, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's higher energy that can be conducted through the melanated being. You feel me? So if we talking about overall of how black people will react statistically outside of the spinoff to try to make black people act look crazy, you feel me? I'm gonna tell you across the board the reaction from black people as far as being violent outside of being conditioned. You feel me? They not gonna do that. But I'm gonna tell you another group that's energy is already conducted low, so they act as though children, and we already know children can fight. They come out swinging. So as much as we don't want to talk about it, you gotta address that fact in order for us to recognize why we keep seeing these videos of these people shooting
Yeah.
kids. You feel me?
Uh,
Like, and once you address that fact, we can create equations in our mind to avoid the high numbers of that shit. But if we don't address it, it's like shit sending your kids out go play in traffic with no car.
all right. Let me concede to one point. I will give a concession to the fact that there are differences, right? There's an immediate visible difference, and there's a chronological difference that we can, account for as far as actions are concerned, right?
Did it not affect the
Does it?
person?
Go ahead. What you say?
I was trying to ask a question with what you were saying. Don't these things affect a person's
Yeah,
nature?
they do. They
Like the
do. So what?
person
But
deviate for a moment, but when they're resorting them going, you know what I'm saying, back to their true nature when they don't know what else to do.
nature is that's what I'm trying to get at. Nature is not really what I was trying to, resolve with this conversation. I was trying to resolve the fact of, was there a Lucifer in so-called flesh that could have an intimate encounter with a human being? That's what I'm trying to wrap my mind around. I've already got my mind wrapped around it, but I'm trying to understand where he's coming from. Because hold on. I'm trying to understand where he's coming from as a person who previously spoke on understanding that there is one energy to tap into. So when we he doesn't subscribe to the Abrahamic uh patriarchal God of the Bible, but at the same time will, subscribe to a Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, how does that work in somebody's paradigm?
Can I?
Who
Yeah, that's your next part.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's my question for him. How do you account for not believing in the God of the Bible
No,
on
no,
that
no.
level? You know what I'm saying? But thinking that Lucifer help create white people. How do
Okay,
you
look, I can't knock the big guy for creating the whole world. I can't say he's not there. I can say that whatever is has done this is all the same thing that has been produced through our religions, and that I know for sure that it wouldn't be certain organizations that wouldn't subscribe to these type of entities if it wasn't doing nothing for them. Now I'm with
Man,
you on the energy can be, you feel me, attributed to lower, like high frequencies and low frequency things of that nature. But but for me to be saying like you saying that I don't that I can say about Lucifer but not believe in God, you gotta believe in both, because you feel me, it's one made the other, or you feel me, one came from,
uh
from both.
let me ask another related question. Prior to the development of Abrahamic religions, are you aware that every spiritual system on earth, in my studies, was of a matriarchal concept? If so, it's a two-part question. If you are aware of that, why do you think that that is, and why do you think that that changed?
I'm trying to see if I understand your question. I feel like, man, that it's all the same story retold through the telephone game. and somebody
Oh,
got, you feel me? So it's like this story everybody's story involves a flood. They done found these shells
Facts.
and things on top of Mount
even in
Everest, all these things, you feel me?
yes,
It's like
even
every
in
every
matriarchal.
every civilization has dated some type of great flood or some type of tragic event. And it just makes you think like, wow, why is there so many different people with the same attributes? They all got 3 stars in the east. They were born December 25th. You feel me? You like, damn, who is this person they talking about? Man, this sound good. You like, damn, ain't that Mithra? Ain't that Krishna? Oh, ain't that? You feel me? So you
Yeah,
get to thinking like, damn, am I being misled? What's going on? It's kind of true. Like I tell people all the
But
time, huh?
my thing up on that is, it's like that's one thing that people fail to realize is, it's like when it comes to that Bible religion and all that, it's like every
It is
character
close.
in that King James book at least got another character in another culture's religion. So it's like the thing that is, which culture
Right. It's
religion was really the first religion that people ever worship. It's like which culture are we really supposed to be worshiping? I mean, what religion culture are we really supposed to be worshiping out
and
here?
that's my whole thing. Religion in its you know what I'm saying primal stage was the edification of the people. You know what I'm saying? These
Yeah.
these same things that the ancient people knew in North America, knew in South America, knew in Africa, knew in Europe. You know what I'm saying? And that was that there is a if anything, if anything, life comes from feminine energy, right? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is that is why uh all of your ancient, you know what I'm saying, religious systems tend to be matriarchal because you come from your mama. You can still see it today in the Spanish culture, you know what I'm saying? You get your mama last name. You know what I'm saying? That's where you came from. You know what I'm saying? Patriarchal concepts came and changed it to where you get your daddy last name, and now you got men like Zeus giving birth to his wife out of his head, and God of the Bible giving, you know what I'm saying, bringing forth a woman from a womb of a man. You know what I'm saying?
and
And
then
all of this weird shit that we cannot attest to in reality. So what I'm saying is patriarchal religions, you know what I'm saying, are a perversion of those same matriarchal religions that existed long before they came about.
Okay.
And
You look. Okay.
additionally, hold on, one more point, because I always, you know what I'm saying, like to drive this one home because I want people to start looking at this. You know what I'm saying? Because this is, you know what I'm saying, this is a turning point in history. There was no world government prior to the rise of Norma, and there was no patriarchal religion prior to the rise of Norma, right? This is 3100 BC. So this shows you that there were civilizations thriving under matriarchal concept prior to the first, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, the first world ruler. How do we how do we how do we, you know what I'm saying, ignore that and, you know what I'm saying, and only subscribe to the biblical things? Is it because that's what we came up in? Because somebody in India is not saying the same shit we saying. He's saying some shit that, you know what I'm saying, Brahma said. And somebody in China is saying the shit that Buddha said. We got to look at this shit objectively. It's about where we come from and the shit we've been introduced to, unless we want to drop that guard down and really look at it from a world perspective. There is no one religion. There
Yeah.
is no one way. You know what I'm saying? You got to, you know what I'm saying, look at what's going on and be objective about it. Now, when it comes down to it, there is no, you know what I'm saying, no denying that there are, you know what I'm saying, There is a racial divide. There's a major disparity between black people and white people. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, going to negate that, but how that came about, I think is something we need to look a little bit more into from a realistic standpoint rather than, you know what I'm saying, deifying energies and saying that, you know what I'm saying, they made it with a actual human to create a race of people on some shit that we can't substantiate. I think that gets us
Question.
in trouble.
Question.
Hey,
So
y'all can't
what
keep talking
separates
about
us?
without dealing with conduction of that energy. And that's when we get to talk about the separation of the people. But who was that finna say something?
Me. I
Say
was
that
finna
again.
say
My bad. I
what's
had out. Say that again, bro.
I said we keep talking about energy, but when we get to talking about energy, we forget the conduction of that energy. And that has to deal with the makeup of the object that the energy is trying to, you know what I'm saying, utilize. So
I
with that
agree.
being, uh I'm gonna let Rodney go before we go into that. Because I think
I
Rodney was
agree.
talking about the previous topic.
oh I was just saying to what bro was saying, what separate us from the animals then.
What separates us from the animals?
Yeah. I mean if what you were saying is saying that there's no way that these things could happen, like why are we different? Why are we the only thing that we know of that's driving cars? That's like why ain't you know what I'm saying? Why ain't the squirrels got guns? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah, I feel you. I like to say why is the worm the only, you know what I'm saying, species like it? Why is the birds the only species outside of a bat that can fly? You know what I'm
Because
saying?
that's
I
just
mean,
the
it's
circle of
just
life, and that's
it's,
just how things
well,
go.
I'm just saying
that's how it,
there's
but
a
what's just the circle of life? Who created the circle of life?
no, not the circle of life. I wouldn't call it circle of life is like food chain, in my opinion. What I'm saying is, I'm just saying I'm just saying there's a high and there's a low. There's a hot, there's a cold. There's highly
My
intelligent.
bad, bro.
There's
I'm
completely defenseless and unintelligent in this reality. You know what I'm saying? You got moon, you got, you know what I'm saying? You got sun, you got cold, and you got hot, and you got every temperature in between cold and hot. And that's all I'm saying this is.
Man, no, but
We tend to think of it as, you know what I'm saying, this shit was designed specifically for us. I tend to think that it is what it is, and we just happen to be. I got fish in my fish tank. You know what I'm saying?
You what, Melvin?
They not aware of the same thing that I'm talking about, but you know what I'm saying. Their life is just. I mean, what is the spirit that drives a fish to be animated? You know what I'm saying? What it's the same energy.
Oh my gosh,
But
Holly
the
is dumb.
conduction is different.
Exactly. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is
The
DNA? Right?
amount of wattage that, you know what I'm saying, some can hold to power a house. But a certain amount of wattage can need to power up one room. You feel me? So when you're dealing with that between animals and humans, is the amount of energy they can behold. You feel me? And express. We got enough energy so we can actually acknowledge ourselves in our reflection. You feel me?
And that's what.
Whereas,
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
and just to piggyback on that, the whole thing about the energy is the spirit, right? But the spirit manifests itself in physicality, right? That's what DNA is. When you look at a chromosome or a DNA strand, you have sugar bases and you have nitrogenous bases and you have a sugar phosphate backbone for that DNA. That shit is only structured by what the DNA or what the spirit tells it to do. That's your mama and your daddy coming together, creating a new energy, right? You know what I'm saying? Remember we was talking earlier, 1+1 is 1, creating a new energy, and that new energy says, well, mama eating this food, let me get some of these nitrogens, let me get some of this here. I need to put this shit together like this so I can manifest into
but
physics.
my
That's
thing
what
about it is
DNA
though,
is. It's the proof of the spirit.
how can how can one species create a new species though. Like I mean, like a new species that we ain't never even seen yet. I mean, how can that be? I mean, how can that happen though?
Because it's just the manipulation of the energies. It's just happened. So there's one species that is capable of doing all these things.
You mean like
I
you
mean,
mean
no, no, no,
like
no,
if
no,
you
no.
mix
Actually,
You talking about
what?
making a
Actually,
lighter?
what? I'm talking about is okay. Put it like this. Okay,
Oh,
a
Yeah.
dog and a
close
monkey.
it.
Okay, it's like how did okay? We all know that monkeys was before dogs. So how did that dog? I mean, like, where did that dog really start to come from? If it was nothing but monkeys, you know what I'm saying? Where did that dog come from?
I get what
Bruh.
you're saying. Like if it was nothing, where did the white people come from?
Basically, that's what I'm screaming though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm screaming. And
Using it as an analogy though.
but I understand you using it as an analogy, but I'm using it quite literally. Like where it come from? Like you know what I'm saying? Or is it just or is it just or it is what it is? Like you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
I always thought a dog was a horse and a groundhog. No, I'm just
He's at a groundhog. Hell no.
Hey
Man,
y'all, my phone might die, man. I walked off and left my charger, but I'll come hop back on when I get in the house.
all right.
look.
But
Till
yeah, man.
then.
But that you know what I'm saying?
Until then.
But that's I mean, but I
I'm at the dog phone. She want to keep standing, so I figured I'll let y'all know. She said they made him like tilapia. I mean, hey, she do got a point because you know they made tilapia in the Nile Valley, and guess what else was in the Nile Valley? Domesticated animals. The Egyptians.
y'all gotta forgive me. Dominic trying to get in on the conversation.
I didn't even understand a thing Red just said. And hey, baby Dom.
Oh, I said Lily said they made him on a dog form. So I said, you know what? That's crazy. And then she said, what else? She said, like tilapia. And I said, you know, she
Oh,
kind of partially right. Tilapia was made in the Nile Valley. And guess who else was in the Nile Valley? The Egyptians domesticated animals.
Mm-hmm.
So they I mean, the dog definitely came from something. I'm pretty sure it came from the jackal. I don't know necessarily where the jackal came
But
from.
Are y'all
so
saying that it's impossible?
Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, we can't
so
hear you right.
say, say it again, Rodney. I think you might drop that, bro.
He
Hey, hit the
I'm a
mute
bigger
said,
button.
"You what about your
dog.
divine proportions?"
Oh, hold on, Marcelo. He came back. What'd you say?
Oh,
Damn. I think he just
dang.
got bad signal.
I think
I think he's driving this thing.
I'm driving.
All right, let me ask y'all a
Oh,
question. I
Oh,
mean,
he's back.
I'll go ahead.
man,
Dang.
this shit is weird.
What?
Go ahead. What you saying, Melvin?
How many dog breeds y'all think it is?
Man, there's like 300 and something.
So do
Maybe
y'all
there's like
really think hold on, do y'all really think the Great Dane got the same roots as the Chihuahua?
yeah. I
I
really
mean
do because the
Partially.
power of
They call them
genetics is
dogs.
crazy, yo. If you keep manipulating that shit, like you
Change
got
the
I
I,
nigga.
I
mean,
did
though, but
take.
like, okay, my
Wait,
thing
no,
Is
no,
about
no,
it
there
no,
such
is,
no.
thing as
So like I did
mutation?
take
where
genetics
did
Go ahead,
a
tests.
Marcel.
hold on,
Chihuahua
let
come
Marcelo go. Let
from, though?
Marcelo go. I can't hear her.
Like, real talk.
So
Where
I
did
did.
that small ass dog come from?
That's what you talking about, man. Click, Mark.
Listen. Okay, so back to the. So I've
Let me
taken a
be-
bunch of genetics courses because per my major, and you will be surprised at how much manipulation can do. You can take out different genes and chromosomes. You can change a lot. There is a lot one gene can make, and one like there's just a lot of different variations.
Okay,
So
hold on,
like
hold on.
now,
Can I stop you real quick before you get too deep? Let me ask you one question. You talking about in a lab? We're not talking about in a lab. You got two wolves. How you make a Doberman? Like, how do you
no,
do that?
I don't think. I think no. Okay, so in that sense, all these new breeds came from humans. They scientifically made them. Period. They didn't come from anything. They have
So,
been made.
so you're saying so they didn't come from anything. We
We
did
made them.
genetically
Yes,
engineer
the
them
only two
in
things
the
were
lab.
wolves, and we made them.
So, so prior to, so I mean, but that can be debated because, like Red said, there was domestication of animals along the Nile Valley, and we can see all up on the pyramid wall they had dogs.
Yeah, there were different
Uh,
dogs. So therefore, as
so,
time went on with all those different types of breeds, as scientists went on, they've been trying to do different type of research and different type of stuff like that. But okay, just like the ocean, half more than half of the ocean that hasn't been discovered. Not everything was documented about these dogs. We don't know what all they had back then.
okay,
True,
so they
true.
didn't all come from the wolf though. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's specifically the
I
wolves. Just like
mean,
you said
now
that there's
they
different
really
breeds
didn't
up
all
on the
come from the
wall.
wolf.
There's different breeds of dogs that were already like there.
Okay,
Not
that's all I was trying to check in on.
yeah.
'Cause I mean,
There's
because
like
people really ride that wolf train like all dogs came from the wolf. I'm like, how
no,
you
I'm
got
saying
two
like wolf
wolves and
is
you
one
make
type
something else?
of the original dog, yes, but I don't think that it's straight like like no.
Yeah, basics. Okay, I'm with you. I can rock with that. Now, like we got, if you give me a couple different variations of dogs to work with in the beginning, then yeah, I
Yeah.
can see. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, because
I'm
I
with
mean,
it.
just like humans, have we got different variations? We didn't all. Well, never mind. I just take all that back. Scratch all that. Rewind. X that example. But anyway, different variations of fish. There's always been different variations of that. But they didn't all start as one little amoeba. I
Let
don't
me
care what
ask y'all
nobody
this.
says.
So let me ask y'all this: do y'all think that the fact that there are so many dog breeds is natural? I mean, I know that it didn't happen naturally, but do you think that it's natural because nature has a way of letting you know what it allow and what it don't allow? So if you mix two different types of cat, like a liger, you can't get that liger to produce offspring. Same thing with a donkey. So is that is it an
Yeah, I want to
abomination
talk
to
about
create?
that like
Is it an abomination to create other creatures, or is it? You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, case by case.
who the liger out of the comparison of white and black did.
Ain't no comparison because we can produce
No,
viable
no,
offspring.
no, no, no,
Hey,
no, no.
wait,
We got to
side
talk
note, I'm
about
on 3% and
procreation
I'm at the
rate.
store. So I'm finna have to re-tap in.
All right, that's
I
cool.
need to go to the store. I'll be
Okay,
back.
we probably be here.
Probably so.
Uh, come again. Uh, what the hell?
You
Oh,
said
yeah, it
who's the
is.
lighter out of white and black people?
We've been comparing and comparing to the point we talking about how dogs was made. You feel me? So to me, it always come back to my point of view. I'm a fucking human. You feel me? They call me black. My people call me black. On top of that, you feel me? We got proof of that shit. So at this point, I gotta look at it. I, what is it? Is that me? Oh, okay. At this point, I gotta look at it from my black eyes. So when I look at it from that point of view, it's like, okay, who would be the liger in this comparison? Because I know what you mean when you say like certain ones that liger can't reproduce. You know what I'm saying? The damn sure couldn't reproduce another liger. Anyway, but let's just say, there's levels to being a fucking liger. Just like, you know what I mean? We got albinos within our phenotype, or I mean not phenotype, we got albinos within black people, you feel me? As well as other ethnicities have their own version of that shit. So when you think about that, it's like Okay, I think I know what you're trying to say. How it ain't no comparison. Is that what you mean? Because I don't think albinos reproduce.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Not all of them, I bet. Because some of them suffer medical conditions because of that shit.
But that's not a rule with albinos that that's not even a you know what I'm saying something that's called into question.
I
Do
mean,
they can they produce
the
offspring?
conversation
Most
of light skin and dark skin is like a subconscious conversation that really need to be had on a conscious level.
yeah,
Because when
but
you think about,
their condition is not you know what I'm saying the same type of gene conversation as you know what I'm saying like you know what I'm saying you gotta have that trait
I'm
on
saying
both
the
ends.
complications, bro. If you're a black person, anatomy wise, biologically, you feel me, and having less of what you're supposed to have, whatever we talking about, whether we talking about albino, having less kidney, you know what I mean, function, it's going to affect you on this plane.
Yeah,
And what you mean by that is the fact that we notice that you exist because you are animating a physical body with a certain amount of function. So I'm just saying, like, that's something, as much as we don't talk about that, that's why it comes out in a perversion on a subconscious level where you have people talking about, oh, she light skinned, I'm dark skinned. But it's like, nigga, when they get to the bottom of the concepts of what they talking about, it's like, nigga, that's some mindless conversation, which means subconscious conversation that you're not even thinking about, you just doing that shit. But on a conscious level, you gotta think like when a person is naturally, genetically a certain ethnicity, which means that this concentration of melanin, or you know what I'm saying, how you've been bred, led to you being this type of person, you got to have certain things to continue in that. And if that shit is bred out of you, eventually, shit, nigga, you ain't gonna be that. Your bloodline might be just gone. I don't think it'll turn into no white man or nothing, but I think your bloodline can die off like a motherfucker.
I'm saying
We don't.
I'm just saying we got to look at albinism the same way we do like a sickle cell trait. Just because you got it, don't mean you're gonna pass it on. Is all I'm saying.
True. True, but we also know that as much as we think all genes that are passed on are good genes, well, we got to explain mutations then and handicaps. Like it don't always work out that way.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely all genes ain't good genes. I would agree. Uh, I would like to try to understand at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? Is albinism something that was to some degree, you know what I'm saying, brought upon us? You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean,
I would
there's
say so.
evidence to support that sickle cell, you know what I'm saying, was developed, you know what I'm saying, to kind of more like an
Counteract.
adaptation to to combat malaria. Uh I mean, is that true? I don't know. I mean, that's what science says. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. I'd have to do that same research. So with the albinism, it's the same thing with me. It's like it's one of those things that I can see, I can bear witness to, and as far as I can tell, it's just one of those things like it's an anomaly of nature. You know what I'm saying? Uh, because we're parts of a whole. You don't have the whole, so there's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's a fraction, it's a fragment, it's imperfect just because it is. Just the fact that it exists means that it's imperfect. So humanity is gonna have some imperfections. So I don't know if it's that basic or if it, you know what I'm saying, is, a little deeper than that. And maybe it's something that was brought up on us. I don't know.
You want to touch on that more? As you brought up the little head dogs and shit, nigga. And I mean, I think it come right back around to
What you say again?
I said you want to touch on that since you brought up these little head dogs.
Actually, I wasn't even paying attention because D, I'm in a wife and my concentration all screwed up somewhere else.
Uh, you over there doing little nice. Uh, but I just feel like this at this point in the conversation, this done came back full circle because we was talking about the oppression, which basically, can be synonymous to conditioning. You feel me? And this is funny, bro. I was riding down the street today, and I seen a crane at the stadium, right? And guess what the name of the crane was?
What?
You ready?
It was
The
what?
name of the crane was called Coon. You feel me? And a crane
Yeah,
does
nah.
what? It uses all its efforts to lift somebody up. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about that shit, like that crane don't see it that way. You feel me? But the action is still the same. And if the crane ever look up one day and say, "Why is this motherfucker making me do it? Why this motherfucker don't do this shit for itself?" It crane has to first recognize that it's being controlled by something above it.
True,
And with us
true.
being humans, we have a situation where we're in a conditioning phase where we have a government. Government simply means to control your mental, your mind. You feel me? So we got to control the way that people think in order for them to participate. Otherwise, the government wouldn't exist because the government is ran by the fucking people. You know what I'm saying? But it's a platform for people to put their ideas out and sway the masses. But if you don't got a dog, speaking of what we were just talking about, if you don't got no dog in the race, you feel me? Or even a conversation, within these conversations, then it's like, at the end of the day, we know, bro, this is not a system set up for us. So as simple as put, can't even focus your success based within this system. To me, success for a black man and a black woman is the succession of your genome and being able to, somehow manage to get back into your right mind. And what your right mind to me would be figuring out your cultural differences from other people, as well as setting yourself right culturally. Because I always used to question myself, like, man, what if I wake up one day and realize this whole time I was the one doing everything against myself? And to me, at this point, it correlates to if you not living within your culture that's naturally for you and yours for you to thrive. Culture is set up for people to thrive in, the people of that culture, and everybody else might be able to survive, but the people of that culture is gonna thrive. So since we know that we living within a culture that's called American culture, you feel me? And we not them people. So we do good to survive until we can create our own. You feel me? And think upon thriving. Because until you can get surviving down pat, you can't even think to thrive. You finna say something, bro?
I feel you. I'm with you.
And a lot of us grow
Yeah,
up
it's
without
true
the
though.
basic necessities. So when you grow up without the basic necessities, it's hard to even wrap your mind around, you know, thinking outside the box, as we would like to say. So you constantly trying to fix the handicap from one generation, and then the next generation don't recognize that it's still more handicaps being placed on the one that's trying to get it right. So you form a mutation within the people, and that becomes the so-called low lights of a group of people. You know what I'm saying? But you can't recognize the good in the people without knowing that, man. Yeah, sure, you're acknowledging the good in the people. There's got to be some people that suffer. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we would like to have this what they call that place when everything is just perfect, like as much as we would like to have a utopia, you feel me? Like life and energy don't work like that. You know, life is based on energy, and energy has a negative and a positive. And us being humans, we have a point of view based on our humanness, you feel me, or lack of, that, causes us to feel the need to respond in certain ways when things, appear in our lives.
Have y'all
Man,
ever
though,
read
but
Seven Bomar's Code to the Matrix?
Uh-uh.
Man, check it
Seven
out.
who? Say it again.
Seven Bomar.
I'm familiar with him, but I don't think I seen the Codes of the Matrix video.
Now it's not a video, it's a book. It's a PDF. You can download it right now.
Okay, okay, shit. That's why I wanted you to repeat it again for anybody that's listening or gonna hear this video, and for myself too, so I can get
Yeah.
that clear. What you was finna say, Marvin? Or never get into his point too deep. Trying to,
man,
I'm a Jamaican this blood. We gonna hit this shit twice and pass that.
man, though, but what I never understand is though.
Come on, Marvin. You on your first puff.
is
He done took a long ass pull. Huh.
hold on. Actually, I'm trying to think what I was about to say.
Yeah, you take you baby.
Damn, hold on. I thought. Yeah, I forgot what I'm
I'm
about to
back,
say
Melvin.
though.
Snatch the button and pass it back to his ass. He ain't ready. What you got going
I
on,
got
Melvin?
let them get it back.
I'll
It's
come up
good.
with it in a minute.
He
Uh,
slobbing on the blunt right now, man. Get that shit.
man, nah, man. I don't know. I feel like we hit that oppression thing over the head. I feel like we, you know what I'm saying, we all you know, had valid points on that one. And it just ain't really no, you know what I'm saying, no way to really say that one group, you know what I'm saying, in the initial question had it worse than the other. Either way it go, it was messed up for both. But in terms of, you know what I'm saying, why we're still oppressed today, I think we just gotta look at, you know what I'm saying, time a little bit more closely. You know what I'm saying? We talking about, well, we can really start tracking oppression from 3100 BC. So we talking about a timeline of about 5 to 7,000 years, because we got to count the calendar deceptions. You know what I'm saying? We done had 3, 4 different calendars. The calendars used to be 360 days. Now which makes sense, don't it? Circle. Anyways, used to be 360
Now
days, now
it's
it's
65.
365 days. But you know what I'm saying? In the time span of 5,000 years, you know what I'm saying? That's nothing. That's a drop in respect to eternity. Like, it had to be so much more going on before then. I mean, this existence could be, you know what I'm saying, next to nothing in regards to, you know what I'm saying, what black people have had. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to take the optimistic road, the road of optimism. We out of the physical slavery that we were forced into. You know what I'm saying? Now I think it's just time to, you know what I'm saying, to create your own viewpoint, create your own paradigm. You know what I'm saying? If you see you in a fucked up situation, do what you gotta do to get the fuck up out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy for everybody.
Definitely,
I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that
you gotta
easy for
do what you gotta
everybody,
do.
but you gotta try. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying?
Definitely do
If
what
you
you
got a
gotta do.
cell phone, there's no lack of knowledge on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Even though some of the shit you might come across might be false information, but you can cross reference, you know what I'm saying, some information you got with some other information, you know what I'm saying? And be your own judge. So it's just, it's deep, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to,
Well, technically, you can create your own knowledge too.
man, what you said.
That's what some people fail to realize is you can create your own knowledge. You ain't got to really just buy the knowledge. You can create your own knowledge that is pretty much is truthful to what you think could be truthful cause
Exactly.
be,
But that's
because because people fail to realize is it states that God talks to the mind. So if God talks to the mind, then guess what? He talks to the mind for you to create your own thing.
man. But that's exactly what we dealing with. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with somebody else's truth, right? This is how it's supposed to go for somebody else. And that's why I'm saying our compliance and our participation ultimately keeps that shit going. You know what I'm saying? If you don't comply, you don't continue to participate. If you teach your children and your children's children to not, you know what I'm saying, participate, and they influence some of their friends and they friends influence their kids, ultimately you making a change. You know what I'm saying? You may not be able to, you know what I'm saying, uh, you know, reap the benefits immediately, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can. You know what I'm saying? You definitely gonna get happiness out of, you know what I'm saying? You definitely gonna get happiness out of doing what, you know what I'm saying, is best for you. Is how I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I feel happy, you know what I'm saying, by doing the things that I like. I never knew I'd build a greenhouse and be thinking about fucking being a farmer. You know what I'm saying? But like that's where this whole journey has led me though. You know what I'm saying? I never
Right.
man, not until a year and a half ago even thought about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm on a vegan diet, like I'm on all types of shit that I never even thought that I'd be on. You know what I'm saying? But this is what this shit has done for me. Not being biased in my assessment of things and just letting it flow. You know what I'm saying? Being
You might
objective about all things and just really looking at this shit for what it is.
you might think I'm being biased or being biblical, nigga, but I damn sure envisioned this day. I was like, nigga, the further I started getting into my shit, I was like, man, when my little brother get out of this shit, nigga, this finna, boy, he gonna surpass niggas so quick. Cause I like when you appreciate the diversity of people, you can see, you know what I'm saying, the goodness in everybody to a point. It's like when you get
Yep.
something out of something, you can also see what somebody else can get out of that shit. You feel me? And not be biased about it. Like just genuinely wanting the best for a motherfucker. You feel me? And being like, nigga, shit, this nigga used to teach me all kind of shit with the science projects and shit. And without that process, certain shit I wouldn't even try to even comprehend or be interested in. You feel me?
Mm.
So it's like a cycle again, within the information that we share with each other. As much as like, we were saying earlier, well, you were saying earlier, like, uh, people gonna come online when it's their time, you know what I'm saying? And they conscious about to me, I feel like everybody is conscious of something right now, more than the next motherfucker. You feel me? They just probably ain't figured out how to humanly express it to you. But shit, everybody got their lane. Everybody got their lane, and when you got that love for people, you can see like, hey, nigga, when such and such get in their light and it's their time, nigga, it's gonna be gone. It's gonna be daytime soon.
Oh yeah. And then actually, if you actually narrate on what I was about to say in the first part of it. But my thing about it is why is it so hard for people to respect another person belief or what they believe? It's like people fail to realize that. I mean, by judging somebody's belief or what they believe in, you are pretty much disrespecting them. So it's like, why can't we just respect what somebody want to believe and just leave it at that? I mean, why is it so hard though? I just don't understand that. It's like because we all got a different mind frame and we all think different. So everybody is gonna have a point in life to where they belief is not going to collab with yours. But everybody wants to put down somebody's belief system because it's not like their belief system. I mean, it's like, why can't we all just accept that we all got different beliefs and just accept them and go on? But instead, we got to disrespect it and make them believe in what we believe. I just don't understand that though. I really don't. I mean, cause just like in the beginning, everybody had a different belief. Everybody believed differently, but everybody accepted and everybody just did them and just believe it and just accept everybody's different belief. But they still believe what they believe and they let others believe what they believe. But sometimes when somebody believes thoroughly in what they believe, why force somebody to believe in what you believe? I just don't understand that. Why force them? Just let them believe in what they believe. I mean, I mean, it's it's been stated that everybody. I mean, it's been stated that it's many religions in the world. So if it's many religions in the world, then guess what? It's gonna be many beliefs in the world. And if it's many beliefs in the world, then it's gonna be many people believing in what they believe.
Really strong. That's real. I'm all for
I
covering
mean,
all.
I mean, it's like people think that religion starts with the Bible. No, religion don't start with the Bible. Religion starts with what someone believes in their heart. That's what religion starts at. It don't start with the Bible. It starts with what they believe in. That's what religion starts at, though. And some people is not understanding that.
I mean, for a lot of people, it's just hard to wrap their mind around, certain things that other people comprehend, or to accept the fact that somebody knows something that you don't. You know what I'm saying? And if you be wise, you could learn from, other people. You know what I'm saying? They say it's wise man that can learn from the mistakes or the experiences of others. They don't necessarily have to make the same mistakes. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that being said, that's what separate those who gonna succeed in this life and those who, to me, gonna have to come back. Shit, if your bloodline gone, you might have to come back to that dog you keep talking about.
Yeah. I mean, but some dogs is pretty much, I mean, laboratory work. I mean, some dogs wasn't created by the wolves. I mean, some dogs was really experiment by scientists. I mean, just like a chihuahua or a poodle, cause they are too small to come from a werewolf family. I'm just saying.
What if a chihuahua is a wolf and a chicken? That nigga stuck. You like, I can see that shit.
man,
All
though,
right.
but but my thing about it is out of all these different species with humans, Koreans, I mean Jamaicans, Nigerians, Asians, monkeys, werewolves, fox. I mean, it's like that it's a higher power somewhere to just pretty much develop the minds of others to create all of this. I mean, cause out of every species that's ever been on Mother Earth, it came from ground and dust. So if it came from ground and dust, it's gotta be a higher power somewhere create all of these different species out here. I mean, it might not be what everybody think it is, but it's something. It's
I feel you
something.
on that. I feel you on that. And like you said, we all ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, always agree on what that something is. But that something gonna always operate the way it do.
What y'all talking about, nigga? I had a dip for a second.
What the name would be for what we, like basically in certain religions, they all talking about energy and how, they have been affected by the energy that, empowers us all. Um, and we might not all agree on what the name for that is. You feel me? But we all know it's something. We might not
I
all
call
call
it
it energy.
I call it the North Pole.
He said the no pole.
This nigga.
Shit,
Here we go.
I ain't even playing though.
I know you ain't. Hey, that's the same thing the Bible said. The North Pole. What they say the heavens is north, north.
I mean, shit. Why does everything revolve around the Polaris star? Don't get me. I'm not trying to turn this to a flat Earth conversation.
Yeah, shit. I mean, the way I see things,
I
everything
mean
is
though, but I mean
connected
he
anyway.
got a point though, because Egypt
So it
is
ain't like
in the
it's turned
north
into a
though.
conversation. It's already there.
I mean Egypt is in the north though. So he do got a point though. I mean,
I'm just saying, where do your compass point to, and why?
What is your point of view? You down here, so you would look up.
No, north ain't up. North is towards the center.
Shit, it is if you down on the ground.
True enough,
I
but it's
could not
still, I mean, but everything is layered. You know what I'm saying? In this existence. So whether you're on the ground or not, it's still towards the center.
right, right. I got you. So I'm agreeing and disagreeing. I'm just nah, it ain't agreeing and disagreeing. It's agreeing and adding to it, which I feel like that's what you doing to my concept too. Because, like I said, it's all
Say,
connected. Because we think we turning it into a flat earth conversation. When we talking about the way we operate with energy, these are concepts that I picked up from, you know what I'm saying, being objective towards multiple conversations, especially the flat earth conversation.
well, I'll just say this: if you take a closer look at the auroras, you know, to me, based upon the pictures I've seen, I ain't never been there. Looks like the shit's coming up out of the ground. Uh, I mean, I'm studying, you know what I'm saying, electromagnetism right now, and the way the energy works is in a hypertrochoid pattern. You know what I'm saying? This is how, you know what I'm saying, Marvin, don't you work, ain't you an electrician?
Yeah, jack of all trades. So
But
yeah,
I'm
that's
just
one of
but
that's
I'm
one
just saying though, I'm just saying like don't energy ain't energy like, you know what I'm saying, like in your alternator and you know what I'm saying, in any type of motor, that shit's in a coil. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
And and that center point where the energy terminates is, you know what I'm saying, is essentially what the North Pole is for the Earth. You know what I'm saying? Uh I wish I could screen share right now, but I'm on my tablet. But you know, everybody just look up what a block wall is. BLOCH. What is a dielectric inertial plane? You know what I'm saying? This is where, you know, essentially where your Earth would be, the plane of existence, and everything else is the energy that feeds it. I mean, I'd like to see otherwise because all these pictures they showing me from space is faking than a motherfucker. Hold on one sec, I'll be right back.
Yep, yep. We in this thing, family. We'll try to hold this thing down for another at least 20 minutes. Then we're gonna have to wrap this thing up soon. But we're gonna hold it down to 11. What you got popping over there, Marvin? No. I need one of them little carrots. Shit.
man, I ain't got nothing right now. I ain't got nothing right now.
But yeah, man, shit. I'm just saying, and that don't even scratch the surface with me as far as how the energy on this earth works. But Red, last week we was Rodney had sent that video and we was talking about, what was the shit. What is these lines of energy where they intersect, the ley lines and shit like that, and what was the Knights Templar actually searching for? What is the Holy Grail itself? And if you look at the Holy Grail, if you look at the fleur de lis, the flower of life, anything like that, we talking about the same pattern. There's a point of singularity. There's a center, and everything flourishes outward from that, right? You know what I'm saying? The cup that runneth over, the cup of anointing. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Like all of this shit is, what I'm saying, speaking to the same way the energy flows on earth. It comes from the center. You know what I'm saying? That's
In the
the
rising of the
that's
crystals, the energy flowing up the spine to the, you know what I'm saying, to the brain. Da, 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 da. I got
yeah.
you. It
And
definitely is.
North Star is just basically like showing you exactly where it's at. It's like it's right up under here, guys. This is where it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I noticed because there's some
What'd you say?
Not to mention, go ahead.
I thought Marvin was saying something. He must have been talking to somebody else.
what's that?
But I was just
I
finna
thought
say
you
it.
was talking.
But I'm gonna take my little tidbit since we even went there. Not to mention that ain't nobody on here prove gravity.
What'd you say?
Ain't nobody prove this so-called gravity, man.
Man, you know I don't fuck with that gravity shit.
So if it don't exist, then a damn spherical Earth can't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's not
But
that
I
simple,
do
but
believe
it's
in the
that simple.
parallel universe.
And if anybody can show me how pressure can exist next to a vacuum, if anybody can even show me that space is a vacuum, if you know what I'm saying, like, I mean, we say these things, but ain't no proof for none of it. You know what I'm saying? You know,
So I think if it was a vacuum, we would get sucked off the planet or something.
I mean, well, the thing is about a vacuum is that if there's an atmosphere next to a vacuum, that means that there's a barrier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like saying you're gonna have a hot cup of coffee. It's like saying you're gonna have a hot cup of coffee and put it in the freezer and it's gonna stay hot.
Right.
I mean, how? You know what I'm saying? There's no example that anybody can prove. You know what I'm saying, to show how an atmosphere can stay next to a vacuum. And people want to say all this stuff about gradients and pressure and things like that. At what point in time does the gradient disappear and become everything wants to reach equilibrium? So you have to show how at what point this equilibrium is not, or how this equilibrium is not being reached over the millions or thousands, however many years you want to say the Earth has been around. At what point does it reach equilibrium? You know what I'm saying? If I take something out the freezer, it's gonna get to room temperature. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We can't just act like because it's the Earth that shit's not the case for the Earth. No, fuck that. You gotta have something to stand behind when you make these claims. If the motherfucking outer space is a vacuum, why the fuck why we still got atmosphere? You know what I'm saying? Uh, like I said, people will say that gravity holds it to, you know what I'm saying, to the Earth. Prove the gravity then. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I let something go don't mean that, you know what I'm saying, the Earth pulled it down. It means I'm not holding it no more. That's all that shit mean. It's not gonna float in thin air. Why would we think that it would? I mean, gravity's not the force. The force is you holding something. When you relinquish that force, there's just an effect. Natural law arranges things based on their density. If there's a force of down, what's the force of up? What's the force that makes, what I'm saying, less dense things go up? I mean, it's based upon your perspective. and what you are. If you are human on Earth, you're not finna float around. If you are helium on Earth, then you're gonna rise above the oxygen. Just it's that simple. And it's crazy because everybody uses density to, you know what I'm saying, to support their gravitational, you know what I'm saying, claims. So it's like, so it's just density. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're gonna use to support it, then that's what it is.
But I enjoyed this conversation tonight. But I'm about to let this phone get charged up. And
Yeah, bro. We'll have to do a whole nother one on the flat Earth thing. But when we do it, I'm gonna have to be surgical with it. I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, add some order to it because I don't want to ramble on it.
yeah, probably talk to y'all tomorrow.
All right,
Uh,
Red, you still there?
Yeah, bro. When you wanna set that up? I
Uh,
know you still gotta, you gotta get time to put your little displays together or whatnot.
I don't even need no displays. I mean, well, I could. I guess I
Right,
could.
because it do need introduction on this platform, so we want to get you to introduce it first. You know what I'm saying? The concepts, that's a conversation piece. So, we can do it like that and do it in pieces.
Yeah, we can do it like that. I mean, it don't take. I mean, I don't even have to go deep with no. You know what I'm saying, with no visuals. It can be real basic with the visuals because you know what I'm saying,
Right.
the experience is before you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You
Mm-hmm.
experience a flat stationary, you know what I'm saying, existence. You're not experiencing
Yep.
no goddamn gravitron or no shit, no merry-go-round. You ain't experiencing none of that shit.
So constant curvature.
So uh and people it kill me that people say the opposite, like the floor in a house ain't flat. Like, come on now.
Come
You know,
on, man.
you know good and well you ain't never experienced an existence on no globe. No matter what you say, other than the visual that you've been given, you have never experienced that shit. I've seen it from a plane. You lying. You lying.
'Cause I've been in the plane too, and I ain't see that shit.
You ain't seen that shit, and there's so many scientists that will.
It seemed like that shit went on forever.
Well, there's so
Flat.
many scientists that'll just say that that shit is not even possible at that altitude with the magnitude of the Earth. So I mean, it's just like people will say what they want to say. When it all boils down to it, any space object that creates an image does just that. It creates an image. None of ain't no iPhones in space taking a single exposure of the Earth, you know, what we would call an image. Like I would take a selfie right now. Ain't no selfies of Earth. Ain't no real pictures like that. They are all composites. Most of them, you know what I'm saying, composites based upon spectral radiometers and, you know what I'm saying, ground satellites. You know what I'm saying? They are put into software and an image is produced based upon reading of light because they cannot take a picture and send it to you because it would not be a ball. It's just that simple. And
True,
when I
true.
tell you I've been through everything that's in space, I mean everything, bro. I mean pick one, Himawari 8, 9, you know what I'm saying, the Discover satellite, pick one. I've looked at every single one of them and read up on them. Ain't nothing in space that takes a picture. Not the Hubble, not nothing. They all read light energy and deliver that data to software to create an image for you. Period. Now, why from the Lagrange point L1, which is I can't remember how many. I want to say it's like a million miles away. I don't know. I can't remember how far L1 is. But why from that distance can we not just take a picture? Why do we need to? Why do we need to send back all this data to be compiled? Maybe for one, there is no Lagrange point. They really ain't that far, and maybe two because it just don't exist in the form of a ball. It ain't that hard. Take a damn picture. As many goddamn rovers y'all sent to Mars, y'all couldn't snap no picture. Y'all couldn't put no cameras on the ass end of them rovers to take no pictures on the way.
Right. But you can put cameras in the little small cameras in the bumpers of cars. You take up and
Exactly.
make you run that damn rover. Shit, game over. Quit playing. Good boy.
But yeah, and that's just from just being a logical standpoint. Let's not even get into the science. I just, it's the Earth. I can't believe that the Earth is still a ball at this point. I just can't believe it.
About their point of view, bro. You know, some people like to me. I feel like it get to the point of, do you just take other people? You know what I'm saying? Word for shit, and that's the conversation piece that I use to see what type of person I'm dealing with. And
And this
honestly,
comfortable.
it's to the point I don't even question the motherfucker no more. I'm gonna let you do your thing real quick. I gotta take care of something. I'm
Now
gonna
we,
wrap it up by 7. I know you gotta wrap it up
now,
too.
yeah, we can go ahead and wrap it up right here. That's all. We'll just save it.
I bet. And I'll talk to you off air about when we're gonna set up the flat earth thing, but I definitely want to do it before my birthday.
All right.
All right, love you, bro. Appreciate everybody coming through. Can fall. Man, you see what we talking about. We're gonna be back in this thing. Forgive me, I ain't been around that much because they done demonetized your boy channel, as well as I have been supporting my brother Squad Boss over at the Squad Boss Argument League. So if you do miss your boy, and if you do want to check out some more content, be sure to go over there. Check out the brother, as well as we got hoodies and tees for the family, because we know you're arguing all over the world. Let them know you professional at this. Don't play with me. And we definitely customize them based on your liking. So get with the family, go over there and check it out. Everything you need, more to come. Only way we're gonna get this done is one by one. So there you have it, bro. You got anything you want to say before we close out?
Nope. Good night.
Everybody have a good one. What'd you say?
Nothing. That was my phone.
Dominic ain't it?
Nah, that was my phone. But yeah, you might hear him in the background too.
Man, that's magic. Man, love y'all. Holla at ya in a minute.
All right.